Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of Game Dev is
Hey
Not
there.
Easy.
Yeah.
After a long hiatus, a much needed hiatus. But we're back, and I am here with my good friend and the developer of Post Trauma, Roberto. Hi.
Hello, Lord. Nice to be here.
Uh, would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe tell us a bit how your days are going
Hey,
these days?
yeah. It's been a long time since I did this, so I will be talking slower than usual. But yeah, I'm Roberto, I'm the developer of Ostroma. These days I'm doing fine, finally. It's been a couple of rough months after the release because well, we can talk about that later, but it's usually what happens with game dev because it's not easy, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays I'm fine. I'm working. I'm not. I'm right now with mobile games, which is strange to hear, but it's more stable, so it's nice. Um, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm sorry. I'm super
You're good. Don't worry.
rusty with interviews right now. So
Don't worry. I,
but
I have I have the questions for you. Don't worry.
cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't you know what the podcast is about, but to summarize it to listeners, especially if you're a developer, game dev is not easy. Is about the developers' up and coming stories, like how they started game development, what were their biggest challenges, and obviously what is it like working with a publisher, because that's the biggest question that solo devs have these days. And I think your experience will help us a lot on this one.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is just to help people also get into game dev. It's sort of like a just like a helpful tool to help people. It's not about like talking about horror or spooks or whatever. No, it's talking about just game development and how that works. So it's also a learning experience for me too. So yeah, before I digress, let's just jump right into it. And I'm gonna start with the question that I usually ask everybody: how did you first get into game development? Was it something you
Hmm.
studied at the school, or more of like a self-taught passion project? How did that first happen with you?
It's a mix of both. Like I got into games a long time ago, with when I was 14, 15. I'm now 32, so a while ago. But basically, I think my first time doing games was I back in the day I played a lot of Tears of War, and the PC version had an editor, so you could make modes for the game and maps. And I remember opening that, and I spent more time making maps, making mods, than actually playing the game online. And I didn't play the game online at all. So yeah, and that's how I knew that I wanted to make games because I was having a lot of fun doing game dev stuff. And after that, when I was on the university, um, I started. I don't know what's the name of the career in English, but programming. And on the first year, I went into a contest for submit a character for a contest, and if you win, you will get to work with us. So I started working in a company there that was an industry small company. And thanks to that, I got bored of the programming uh, course in the university because I felt like I was not learning enough, and I did learn a lot about YouTube videos and stuff. And because now I had a job working on games, I had enough money to go into a art career focused on games in a university here in
Mhm.
Spain. So I switched careers from programming to the art side. And on that company, I stayed for like almost 10 years. And it started, that company was super small. When I started, we were like 9. And when I left to do post trauma, we were like 40 or 50 people. So it grew a lot, and it was a company that started making games for others, outsourcing services. Like some crazy guy went to us and like, I want to make a Mario Kart for mobile where you play as these characters. Okay, I want to make a clone of Clash of Clans. Okay, we will do it for you. But then we switched to making indie games on our own. One of them was Walllighter or Cataclysmo, and not super huge, but I had an enough taste of everything here and there. But basically, I started work on games just because of that contest that a friend told me, and I won it. And I know if I saw what they did for that contest, it was horrible. But back in the day, I was super proud of it, and that's how you know is that you grow. So even if you think that what you're doing is really bad, or oh, these people are super good, no, don't compare your work with someone who you don't know how much time
Yeah.
has invested in doing games or doing art. So basically, that's more or less like it. Like, yeah, so they're working there. Then I left for Persona, and now I am back into games for others. So it's convoluted journey, but it's fine. I have
That's
a lot of details in the between, but yeah.
yeah, we'll get to them too. But that's a good big journey, and it's kind of similar to what I've heard before with game devs. Usually, it starts with map making, mod making for old games. Like
Yes.
back in the day, it was Half-Life, and nowadays it's you hear other names more like Gears of War or Halo. That's why I always appreciate games like Roblox, Minecraft,
Yes.
or even the new Battlefield 6 giving people map making
Yes.
tools. It's like a really nice step, and I hope that we'll see more of that soon, because it's not just to make user generated content, but also giving people this tool to make something out of nothing.
Yeah. It's like that. Like I am happy that it's coming back again, because even if you don't see a lot of like most of the things I did back in the day for mods of Gears of War, I never published them. I did them for myself. I was having fun doing that. I also have the chance to collaborate with other people, and we did a mod like the Peace mode that was released on Years 3. We did it for Years 1. And we read models from Years 2, and we backported them to DC because one of them, I don't know how, got the DC version of Year 3. I don't know how he did it because that's highly illegal, and I don't know. And it was fun and a nice community. I think now it's back again with Discord, which is nice. Back then it was forums. And yeah, just making something and starting from something that's not blank, because it can be super scary, like downloading Unity or Unreal and go make a game. But if you start from Battlefield and you just want to take an already made map and just move things around, it's super easy, and it's a nice entry point.
Yeah, because a lot of people miss the point that game making is not just about coding and just, understanding these engines. It's about also game design, and using a pre-made tool like Battlefield 6's or, Half-Life. It helps you learn game design without getting into the intricate details of those engines, because I tried to open one back in the day when I was like first trying to learn Unreal Engine, and I was like, what am I looking at? It was just so overwhelming for a newbie. And I think mods and maps, I'm glad to see them back. And like you said, Discord is also a good avenue for people to finally catch up and learn about that stuff together. Then a kind of related question, I guess, now that we talked about Gears of War and some old games. What were some of the earliest games or developers that inspired you to make video games?
That inspired me. Whoa. Like, I have a lot of favorite games. Like, of course, like my favorite game of all time, it's like Majora's Mask. There, like that's my favorite game of all time. And I also, when time passed, I appreciated the game more because I learned that they made the game in a year or something like that, and reusing assets. Like, it's like, there you go. Like, you have all the assets for Ocarina of Time. You have 1 year to make the game. That's your problem now. And they did my favorite game of all time, which I find that it's like how you did that. That's really inspiring for me. And other than that, of course, usual work. I was a big thing for me because, like, I think the first time I saw an ad that really got me like, wow, what's that? I want to play that. It was the first usual war ad, like the one with Marcos running on the street and it's like a giant corpse on the background with Matt Warren as the
Oh yeah,
music.
classic.
I saw that ad and I was like, wow, what's that? And also another ad that the first time I saw a game and I said, that looks like real life. Games can't improve more than that. I think it was Mirror's Edge. Like the first time I saw Mirror's Edge was like, this
Incredible
is
looking
super
game.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art direction in that game, it's amazing. And then you can play nowadays and it still looks good. It still looks better than all the other games. And it's a realistic art style. So like just, yeah, of course you can play Wind Waker and it still looks good today because it's stylized, more stylized. But Mirror's Edge is realistic graphics with a really good art direction, and that's, I don't know how they did it. Well, I don't now I know how they did it, but back in the day it was like, this is super amazing for me, and I wanted to learn how to do that, and because the part I like the most about making games personally is the lights, like placing lights, like having any scene, any map, and just changing the lights can improve the mood a lot. Like you can have the best models in the world, the best textures, the best anything, but if the lights are not placed correctly, it doesn't look good. And on the other way around, you can have PS1-like models, super blurry textures and everything, but if you place the lights correctly, the mood of the scene suddenly it's super nice. And Mirror's Edge did that really, really well.
Yeah.
And that's one of my huge inspirations of like, how can I be near that? And so yeah, I have like Mirror's Edge, which is here like super light game, super bright, and then Gears of War here, which is the total opposite. Like it's like monochromatic, super dark, but it gave me the tools to learn. So that's why I have it in a high hopes. And Majora's Mask is like the story of like how you can rush a game reusing assets and still make a really, really good game, which is, I don't know.
Yeah, people,
I would say
especially the younger generation of gamers, have this stigma against reused assets. But if they knew how many times they was use reused assets, they would probably lose their minds. It's just a part of the business. It's what you gotta do. What are you gonna do after using it once? You're not gonna just trash it. You have to keep using it, keep repurposing it.
Yeah, I feel like the trash about reusing assets, it's only when the game is bad. It's like the same thing with CGI in movies. Like people usually say, no, CGI in movies is really, really bad. No, it's not. The problem is that you only notice it when it's bad. And when it's well done, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Like if you do your work really, really well, people will not notice. And it's like, oh my God. So I think it's more or less the same. Like if it's a good reuse, it's nice. Like for example, one of the games I like a lot, I haven't played in a long time, it's Destiny. Destiny reuses assets everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Especially enemies. I'm like, but the gameplay, it's so good. And the mechanics on top of that are so good that you don't notice. Well, you notice, but you don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've seen this enemy everywhere. Oh, now I have the hive in a place that doesn't make too much sense, but now I have a seal and I have this other weapon and I have to do. You enjoy it, and the gameplay is good, so you don't mind. But if the gameplay was bland, if the story is bland, if everything is bland, and on top of that, you reuse assets, that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, as a Destiny 2 player, I know exactly what you mean. We're still fighting the same fallen that we've seen in Destiny 1. But it works.
Yeah. We didn't
It
need
works.
factions. Yeah, but it worked. Yeah.
It works. Well, back to post trauma. So you
Mhm.
mentioned that you worked for these other like companies making games before post trauma. So working
Mhm.
there and between post trauma, did you work on any like smaller projects or prototypes on your own before post trauma? And did you learn like anything
Mhm.
from those experiences?
I did smaller stuff, but I never released it, like
Mhm.
because I like doing games and I have fun prototyping stuff, small ideas, but I never did a full game and released it before post trauma because when I was working at the other company, even if I had fun there and I love my colleagues there and I still have good memories from there, doing games is still a job. Like the phrase like do what you love and you'll never work one day in your life. That's bullshit. Like don't believe that. Like if you do what you love, you will work even more.
Yeah,
so so don't be fooled by that phrase. Like no. So
work is work.
even yeah, work is work. So yeah, I was working full time there, and after that, if I wanted to do something games related, I will do it, but I will do it for fun a little bit. And if I spend more time on it, it starts becoming like a second job. And it's hard to do games for work and then do games for fun and the for fun part make it a job again. No. So that's why I did a lot of stuff, did a lot of small prototypes. But once I got to the part that was like boring, because every part of the game there has a boring part, I moved into another project because I just did it for fun.
Mhm.
So no other. Well, I did some game jams here and there, but only that's different because you're working with other people. So it's
Yeah. And what was the specific? It was if there was a specific point for you to say or think, okay, like I can actually do this for real. I can make my own game. Like this is actually happening. What,
yeah.
what was that point? When did that happen? How
It
was the game conceptualized by then?
it was when you started recruiting my tweets. like honestly, like because on my other job I was happy, but it was near the COVID a little bit before. I was starting to get tired of that, like
Mhm.
because I wanted to do something on my own. And my idea was to make everything on my own and release it. So a little bit before leaving, I started working on a prototype, on two prototypes. One was Persona, and the other one was like an isometric tactics game similar to Into the Breach. And I was focusing on that one, and I was publishing updates of that one on Twitter. And when I told my whole boss, it's like, hey, I'm planning to leave the company. I'm doing two prototypes, and well, I'm doing this. I'm doing the prototype
Mhm.
of Necrodex. What's the name of the game? Like the tactics one. And that was my idea. Like my idea was to pitch that game to publishers because back in the day, I thought that not a single publisher was going to be interested in a horror game because there's a lot of horror games out there. So I saw it like it's safer to do this other game, which is more like publisher type game. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Bostrama was more like for fun because I was doing just pretty scenes and lighting them and taking cool screenshots. But then the tweets started getting out of retweets. So like viewers, every time you retweeted one, I had a lot of replies and a lot of new followers, and I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? And there was a point where I had to choose which one to focus on, and I said like, okay, I think I do Bostrama because it's the game I want to make. I'm having more fun with this one. And on top of that, it's more, more marketable, more shareable online because the other game, the problem it had, it's like, because the game was isometric in a single screen, I could do a lot of art for it. I could do a lot of updates, a lot of code, but on screenshots it looks the same.
Yeah.
With post-trauma, you can have the same scene, change the camera angle, change a little bit of thing, and you post it to it. And the image, it's more eye candy, and people like it more. It's more easy to market that game. But that only happened after your account boosted my visibility. So it was at that point, yeah. At that point, it was like, okay, now I can leave my day job and focus 100% on post-trauma. That's what I did, yeah.
Okay. I don't even remember how I first found out about you. You didn't DM me, right? I found your
No, I
game?
think I tagged you. The weekly start your game on your web list, and I will repeat them all.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it was back in the day when Twitter was a nice website where you had reach before the
blue check mark.
Before the exactly.
Yeah.
So nowadays I don't know how I will do it, because I will maybe try TikTok, I don't know, or Instagram works also somewhat more or less, because I'm doing a experiment with a figures account and painting figures and posting them on Instagram, and it's doing decently.
Oh, we'll talk about them.
Of course, yeah. Anyone.
But go ahead.
It's like it was like you posting like, hey, show me what you're doing, and every time you do that line,
okay.
I got a lot of followers from that.
Okay.
Yeah. It went.
Yeah. Discoverability these days, especially on Twitter, is abysmal.
No, it's
you get discovered by either posting like something really specific that clicks with people, or people just don't see you at all. Yeah. Something you said piqued my interest there. So when you were even making the game, you were thinking about if a publisher would like this game or not. So you were always thinking about working with a publisher then.
Yeah, because now that I see it with perspective, I was a little bit crazy, because back when I left my job, I've bought my house at that time, because the game we released on the other company, it went very well. So everyone on the company got a bonus.
Nice.
And with that bonus, I was able to do the payment of house, like not the full payment, but enough to be able to buy a house. So I had like $9,000 on my bank account, which is nothing. I mean, for a lot of people, it's a lot of money, but I had that amount. So, and I left my job. So suddenly I was like, okay, my savings is like $9K. I have to do a game. So with that amount of money and without a job, without any more income, I was like, well,
how do you do this?
I need someone to give me money to make the game, or I will not make it at all. I was super lucky, because I remember when I released the demo, because I said like, oh, I have to do the demo in 6 months and release it, and it reached a point when I released the demo, I had in my account like $400 or 400 euros, sorry. And even if I bought my house, like I didn't buy my house, like I have like I will end up paying it in 2059, so it's like a 40 years
mortgage, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So every month the bank was asking for money, and I had like $400 in my bank account, and the mortgage is around 400, a little bit more. So okay, but I released the demo and I released it on itch.io, and people there donated. I remember one guy donated me like $1,000, and I was like, this guy just saved me for like, now I can eat. And thankfully I found a publisher and I got the money before I ran out of the other one. So yeah, it was a little bit intense, but from the day one I was like, I need a publisher, because if I want to make this game, I need money, and for
Yeah.
that, you need a publisher.
Yeah, smart. Yeah, solo dev is definitely reliable and definitely something you can do, but everybody has different
Yes.
conditions. Like, uh, especially Europeans or like for me, like Turkish
Mm.
people, it's a little difficult for us because we don't get as many benefits from the government, I guess. And I hear that even that's like a shaky situation in the US these days. But yeah, it's always a little more challenging for us. So I always understand
Yeah.
why young game devs, especially like young in their careers, go for a publisher. It's definitely understandable, and I think it's a smart choice if you like find a good deal, good publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something to consider. And before I move on more deeper into post trauma, I guess I'm curious about one thing. Now that you're like painting figurines and all that,
Mhm.
what was your background before like starting in game dev? Like, what did you study? Were you an artist? What were you interested in other
No,
than game dev?
like the painting figurines, it's like a super recent thing. Like one day I bought like uh, an Evangelion gunpla kit. I don't know what it's called,
Mm,
and I said, "Oh, I like building things." And then like I have like I'm diagnosed. I have the suspicion that I have ADHD because when I get into a hobby, I burn it and I like hyper focus on something and
same.
until I'm yeah. I believe like 90% of people that work in game dev or game related things
Yeah.
have some sort of ADHD. And basically like I started into a spiral of like, oh, I clicked on one video recommendation on YouTube of about painting figures. You need a printer. Okay, I'll get a printer. And then hyper focus on that, and I suddenly have like a full stack of those, and that's how it happened. But about my background, my job title is tech artist, which is like a bridge between programming and art. But the good thing is I know a little bit of everything. The bad thing is I don't consider myself super good at any of those. Like for example, at coding, I can code, but I didn't have a coding background. I never like I've lost my programming career like on the first year. So everything I know about coding, I learned via YouTube or just coding. Nowadays, a lot of people will not agree, but I feel like 99% of what you can learn is online, and
Mm,
having a degree will help you only if you want to get a job outside your country
mm-hmm.
or in your country in a super big enterprise. But other than that, that's my opinion. And the art part, like I like a lot about color theory. I like about composition, photo manipulation, 3D rendering. I know how to model, but for example, I'm really bad at modeling organic stuff. But I like more like the hard hard surface modeling, which is like more building robots or or furniture, building, all that type of stuff. Because that's what I know. Or now about drawing. You can give me a photo reference and I can more or less do a decent painting of that reference. But if you tell me to draw something from scratch or more stylized, I can't do it. And that's something I don't want to do because
Mm-hmm.
there's a set of skills that I want to improve. And you have to choose a small amount because if you try to do everything, is it? And with painting figures, I feel like it's easy for me because it's similar to what I do in 3D, which is paint the light. Like it's for me, painting figures. I'm like the paint by number books, like because the shapes are already there. You just have to paint of them. There's some artistic in there, of course, but it's like it's easier for me. But if I had to draw them, for example, I will be horrible. I don't know how to draw, but I know how to paint over the stuff. So it's I don't know. It's like a little bit of everything. It's just like a hobby thing. Like I
Hmm.
will try to learn some stuff, but uh, I think I said a lot of stuff, and I didn't say anything at the same time. But
No, I get it.
that's it.
I definitely relate. I'm the same way. I hyperfixate on many things throughout the entirety of the year. Like some last year, these
Mm,
times it was like gunpla kits again. You could see them, and
yes,
then
yeah.
nowadays it's like content creation. Thankfully, something like productive again. But I understand definitely. And why doing these things, I think we as people just learn a lot of things. Like for example,
Mm,
you now know a lot about 3D printing. Even I like DM'd you, asked you about like
mm.
3D printers and resins and this and that. Now you know about that stuff. Like next year, if you hyperfixate on something else, now you're gonna learn about that thing. I don't think like that's a bad thing. Like people sometimes
No,
think that that's a
like
bad thing,
eh,
but I think it's great.
no, I don't know who's like the time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. Like
Exactly.
unless it's something like that's hurting you physically, or I don't know. Okay, but about hobbies, like you enjoy gun kids, unless you are financially responsible and buying them with money you don't have.
Yeah.
If you have the money to do it, do it. It's fun, it's creative, and it's cool, and you're proud of it. Like it's really good. And
Yeah.
same with any other hobby. I feel like.
Yeah. What else are you gonna do in this crumbling world?
Yeah, like, I'm not super optimistic about the future of the world.
Yeah.
So right now, I'll have fun with whatever.
All right. Now let's get deeper into post trauma. Everybody's
Mhm.
darling old man in a survival horror world simulator. Uh, what was the initial idea behind the game? Like your game obviously has this old guy,
Mm.
right? But
Yeah.
was post trauma always post trauma? Was it like something else in the beginning? How did you? What was the original
Yeah.
concept like? How much did the game evolve from that?
Mm. It changed a lot. Like when I was doing it for fun, like because if you go to the first photo in the account, it's from way, way old. Like I did some screenshots and then stopped for like 1 year or 1 year and a half.
Hmm.
And the initial idea was like you were playing as a girl, and there was like a building, and each floor you went to was a different setting. And it was called post trauma because it was like I have to remember the story. It was like there was a guy who suffered it was like an experiment of some sort, and that building got into a different dimension, whatever, I don't know. So if you got out, someone else was going to take your place on that building, and the one guy was unlucky and got sucked again into the building. I was like, oh no, I want to live again. So how do I make it so I don't go back into this place again? So that guy like set up a lot of traps and riddles. So the next person that went in wasn't able to solve the riddles, and there wasn't any option of going back into that building. Completely different idea, first person game, a lot of random assets. So yeah, nothing related to that. But when I got back into working with it again, it was in a time of my life where I was like, I want to do something with fixed camera angles because I miss them a lot, and it's like a thing I like a lot. And that's how it changed from first person to third person. And about Roman, the old guy, when about 2 months or 3 months after I started working on the game, Epic released a tool called MetaHuman, which is for doing
Mm, I
hyper-realistic
remember
humans
that.
instead of Unreal. And I tried different things, and I tried Roman for fun, like that's like, oh, what I found an old dude because I don't know. I tried it, and as soon as I put him there, I was like, it has to be him. It fits a lot. Like it fits like The original was like a young girl, which not super young, but like it was the, I don't know if you played Paragon, but I think her name was Face. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
like
I think I remember her.
I was using her model because it was free from Epic. I edited a little bit so it didn't look like her, but it was her. But then I tried Roman and it was like, dude, it fits a lot. It feels more. I feel more vulnerable. I feel more like I have to protect him. I feel like it makes sense. I don't have a lot of stamina. I don't know, and that's it. I changed him. I'm like, now it has to be Roman. And the story changed a lot after I signed with a publisher and a writer came in, and that caused other troubles. Like because I feel like the story got super complicated. Like I working with Cameron, which is the writer, was amazing and he did a super good job. But now after the game's done, which is when you know what things went wrong, so now it's easy to talk. But I feel like I should have said like this needs to be easier. So the game is better. But that's easy to say now, not before. Yeah. So yeah.
But I think that's what you had originally conceptualized is actually a pretty good idea, because whenever we're playing survival horror games, especially myself, I always think like, these puzzles don't make any sense. Why would anybody put these here? But you giving the player a reason to put the puzzles there, or like see at least why the puzzles were there, I think that's a really good idea. I think you should go back to that concept.
I might go back in the future. I don't know. It was like something like, because I had that that idea at the beginning, like why there are puzzles in my horror game? Why this puzzles doesn't make sense? And I wanted to make an excuse of why those were there. With post-trauma, we tried to do it, but it's super hard to understand, and it got diluted along the way. So it was like our first was like, no, it's Carlos doing the puzzles, but it's not. But now in the final story, it's not easy to do. But what it was like, yeah, every time you go to the building, you lose your memory, so that's why you don't want to. I don't know. So I do puzzles, so no one else can solve it but me because I'm super smart, and the next one, I don't know, all that stuff. Maybe one day I will go back to it. I don't know.
Hey man, one day roguelikes are on the rise again. You never know.
But you never know.
Okay. The game also has like this distinct visual tone and emotional tone. Like it's not just a survival horror game. It also has like an emotional background, and the aesthetics kind of reflect that. Where did that aesthetic come from? How did you conceptualize that, and how did that change over the years?
Well, the aesthetic, I think it's a mixing of all of influences. Like every time someone asks me like, what's your reference? I mean, of course, Silent Hill is the most obvious one because it's obvious, but I think it has a little bit of all the things I like Majora's Mask. Again, it's a game that's super spooky for me, especially if you played it when you were young and a kid. Like seeing the hand on the toilet for me scared me as a kid, and that's why I added one in the bathroom of the hospital. But it's the idea was from the beginning, like just make something that looks good on screenshots. Because even if I said that I'm 50% artist, 50% programmer, I feel like I'm more artist than programmer. And I'm the type of person that if I'm playing a game, that game has a photo mode, I stay more time doing screenshots than playing the game. It happened with me with like, I think the first Spider-Man game. It has a really good photo mode, and I spend more time doing screenshots than playing the game. The game it's all right. I like it, but it's like not super good. But because it had that photo mode, it's a lot of time. Same with the Demon Souls remake. Even if I don't like a lot of the artistic changes they did, I feel like, but that's another thing we're gonna talk about. But the photo mode was really a really fun toy for me. And well, there's a lot of screenshots there. And with post trauma was that made game. Like, okay, I have this room. I'm going to place the lights in a way that looks cool in a screenshot, and I will move the camera to find the cool angle. And that's what's the whole idea with the game. And then when the concept artist joined, she was crazy in the head, like super fucking crazy, and I loved it. I was like, what if we do a room full of this thing and the spider controlling, and what if this room has a giant angel pool of love? Like, I wish I had enough money and time to do what he did on the concept art, because his concepts were amazing. And it was a mix of all. Like, I was telling him, like, go crazy with the concept, and we'll try to match it as close as possible. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, inside Unreal, it's, especially with Unreal 5, it's easy to iterate and find cool scenes. Like, even if a lot of people are right now trusting Unreal 5, which I understand, and it deserves it a little bit, it's super fast to iterate and find cool stuff to show, and easy to make good lights. And I don't know, like, if this game I had did it with Unity, for example, it would have taken longer and be harder to make. But with Unreal, it was easy to set up a cool camera angle and place lights, and I also did some post-processing on top. Like, but the short version is like, just make something that looks cool and in photo modes, and that was it.
That's interesting. Like, you played the games, and photo mode was the interesting thing that you found. And yeah, with photo mode, you are able to see every intricate detail if you so want to. And it's interesting that kind of got reflected, because post trauma has very full environments that you can like kind of feel like it's lived in. It doesn't feel shallow, especially with Unreal Engine. It's really difficult to make games look different, because usually when you look at an Unreal game, you can tell that it's an Unreal game. But I noticed that it's not that easy to tell with post trauma, and that's because I think you did a good job with the art direction. That was one of the first thoughts that I had when I was actually playing the game, when you had sent me that playtest build back in the day. I was like, oh yeah, he did a good job with this. And
thank you. Yeah.
So then, kind of related to the conceptualization and everything, what were the first few months of dev like? You said that you took like a year break, but even before that, I guess, like, what was the first few months like before the break and after the break? Like, you were working alone. How was everything?
The year break? The year break wasn't a break. So like, it was like I did 2 screenshots while I was working on the other company, like one afternoon, like, because Unreal released like a ray tracing thing with Unreal 4 like in the day, and I had like a new computer, or like, oh, I want to test ray tracing on a thing, and I downloaded Unreal, and I did the first thing of Poster, which is like a spooky room with 2 mannequins in there. And then I stopped because I'm like, oh, I have fun, let's go. But when I left my job to work on it after you recruiting my tweets, my first 6 months were like, I have to make a demo, and with that demo, I have to find a publisher. And those were like the first steps were those like I need a demo as soon as possible because I don't have a lot of money saved. So the demo got out, but how I made it was in a super hacky way. Like at that point, I didn't care about code, or I didn't care about this will be scalable in the future, or it will be no. My goal was like, just make something it exist. Exactly. And that's it. I used the, how it's called, the horror engine plugin. A lot of horror games use it. But I remove a lot of features, and I placed the fixed cameras on top, and it was horrible, but good enough to release a demo on Steam and on itch.io. But after I signed with the publisher, I was like, okay, now I have a publisher. This project is a reference, but we didn't use a single asset from a single assets, yes, but code from that demo, not
It
at
was
all. It was a
entirely
new
remade.
project from
Yeah.
scratch. Yes,
Hmm.
because it was unusable. Like it didn't work for that thing, but if you ask for, no, it wasn't possible. And the dev process was strange because we didn't have a lot of money. So at the beginning, it was myself, and that's it. And after, I think it was 2 months, the concept artist joined, but he was only able to draw. And he was able to sculpt some stuff, but he was not a 3D artist. Thankfully, with Unreal, you could import some sculptures inside Unreal, and it was more or less feasible. But still, it was only me and him. A little bit later, we hired the writer as a freelancer, and he did the story. It was really, really good, and that's it. So it wasn't a full-time part of the team. A little bit later, we got the 3D artist, thankfully. So we were able to have custom characters and 3D models, because the idea with Postron was like, we only have one 3D artist. So we are going to use a lot of asset packs. And every time I put a new asset pack, I try to do a makeover of it so it doesn't look like an asset flip game, but still, that's what it is. And use the 3D artist only for specific props, like for puzzles or for the enemies or for the fleshy things around the environment. All the other assets are pre-made assets that I change the texture in the material so it doesn't look less unreally. I don't know. And on the last year of development, I finally got a programmer. So I had time to do other stuff, because until that point, I was the one doing art. Well, art, like the lights, the programming, puzzles, audio design. I also did a lot of that. And in the last, not even the last year, like 8 months before release, we got an audio designer who is amazing, and he got the game from this to this. Like, thank God, like he's amazing, and his work alone made the game feel way better, because I believe like sound is like 60% of a horror game.
Yeah.
And thankfully we got him, and he was really good, and I can't thank him enough. But it was like we did this, okay, we'll do it now, or we'll do it now. It wasn't all pre-planned from the beginning, and it shows in the final result. If I had to do it post-drama right now from the beginning, we will be able to do it faster, cheaper, and better. But that's something you learn after you work on the game. After the game's done, it's easy to say where you fail, but once you're working on it, you always try to make your best, and we try. And I'm proud of the final result, but I am aware that a lot of things could be improved. So I'm still having improved. It what it is in the end.
Wow. A whole
It's
development
messy.
cycle. Going back to the early development, that was interesting what you said there. So you had like a demo going, and then the retweets were happening, and then the account was growing. How did you validate the game's direction, like if it was resonating with people or not, both when you were solo developing and after you were with the publisher? How did you validate that, oh look, this is resonating with people, they're liking this? Like, how was that? Was it just social media numbers? Was it specific comments? Like, how did you know that people were gonna like the game or its direction?
My idea with the game was more like, I'm going to make a game that I would personally like, and that's it. Because I might be wrong here, but I feel like if you try to make a game that everyone likes, no one will like it.
Yeah.
But I was like, from the beginning, what I had clear in mind, I was like, I want to make a game that does not hold you, and it has fixed camera angles.
Mm.
And those were my goals with the game. And the only thing I should have taken more to what I was feeling, and I did change the final game. I think the puzzles should have been harder. I feel like we did made them a little bit easier in the final build. I regret that because of that was because of feedback of player testing and everything. And I feel like no, I should have made them harder. Other than that, it was like no, I'm making a game that I will like myself. Like obviously, if we had more money for animations and everything, the combat would be better and all that. But my goal with the game was make something that I would like in a horror game. Like, for example, I don't like jump scares in horror games.
Yeah.
Because
same.
even if I like horror games, I'm really bad at playing them. And if the jump scares are not well done, for me, it's like an instant, like, no. Like, it might look good for YouTubers and everything, and I understand that, and I'm not saying that those are bad games. Those are games that I don't like. So for me, it's like, no jump scares, no hand holding. I like when a game forces you to take notes. So I'm not going to give you a notebook inside the game. You have to take screenshots with your phone or write in a book. I want something that doesn't have to also too much combat because I don't like the combat in horror games too much. That's one of my problems with the latest Evangelho that I loved about the combat. Oh my god. And that was it. Like, make a game I would like. And if I like it, people like me should like it, I feel.
Yeah.
That was it. In the visual, yeah.
You were not really concerned with if other people liked it. You were just like, I'll make this. If you like it, you like it.
I was concerned because obviously it's a game and it has to earn money and everything, but that was my director, like, because even if you pay attention to someone, like, let's say a post, a quick demo and everything, I have a lot of feedback. You have conflicting feedbacks everywhere. And also I feel like sometimes players do not know what they want. Like, for example, this stamina thing, like Roman not being able to run indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the game, when I was developing it, Roman had infinite running. It was a slow run, but you could run a lot. But having that makes you run over everything and you missed items. That's something you only know if you played both versions. But a player, some players on the initial demo were like, "Oh, Roman shouldn't have a stamina bar." People, that was a feedback I got. But also, if you don't have any negative thoughts about that, you don't say, "I like that Roman has a stamina bar." So the feedback you have is like people saying they don't like the stamina, but you don't have people saying they like the same, because when you like something, maybe you don't say it because you don't notice it. So So when making games, you have to be very selective with the feedback. Like, they're like, even if it's well intentioned and well structured, in the end you have to stick a little bit to, no, this is your vision of the game. Try to stick to it, and people will like you will like it. You don't know if there's a lot of people like you or not. That's what it is, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's how you know.
That's my advice.
That's how you know you're getting good feedback, when you're asking someone for feedback. If the only feedback that they give is about negative things, then you know that it's not really that good of feedback. Feedback should be both ways.
Yeah.
It should be about the good things that the game is doing and the bad things that the game is doing.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's hard to ask for feedback. from people you know, for example, if they are
Yeah.
not game devs, if you ask a friend, sometimes it's the opposite. Like they only say good things
Yeah, a little
because
bit
they are too
biased.
polite.
Yeah.
And no, or they are afraid of saying bad things. Like
Mm.
you are not going to offend me. Like I want to hear the bad stuff so I could fix it. Like, but sometimes they don't say it. It's like because they don't want to make you feel bad. No, like, you're not making. You're if you're saying something bad, it's because you want this to be better. So like, I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
the other way around too. Like some people are full negatives. I'm like, we got a mock review of a guy who. That was the thing with the policy that it made us do some changes that I wasn't vibing with, but it was someone who didn't like fixed camera angles games, and I was like thinking like, then
It's not a
when
game
you are
for you.
why, yeah, exactly, yeah, why we should pay attention to this review if this guy is not the target audience? But
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of everything there.
Yeah, I understand the mock review thing because you gotta, when you're trying to sell, I guess you gotta think of the people who would normally not play a game of this type.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you stuck to your own direction and didn't really stray from it too much. And I think it did resonate with people a lot, especially that, yeah, it is a more hardcore horror game. Like I noticed that even in the first puzzle where you like have to go around the train and look at the signs, it's like, oh, okay, I gotta take screenshots of these. I gotta like use my phone first. I gotta note these. No, that was like a good thing because yeah, nowadays every game has journals. Every game has notes scattered around. Like you always have these shortcuts and you're looking for them. But we should also go back a little sometimes and give the player those like small interactions, just noting something down. That's like so valuable. I think that
Yeah.
it's something that I miss from the old games. So I'm glad you kept that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Uh,
I had to
Go
fight
ahead.
for
Yeah.
that puzzle. like,
Yeah, I
to be
remember
there.
us
Like,
talking about the puzzle difficulty towards the game's release. I'm glad you stuck with the decision. Kind of related to decisions and directions. Were there like any creative risks that you had to take when making the game? Like that's a creative risk. You know, it's gonna be difficult, and people will maybe not like it. Maybe they'll refund the game. Like that's a creative risk. What were other risks that you had to take when making post trauma?
that's hard to answer. Like, eh, everything's a risk, but it's choosing what things to keep and what things to cut. Because we had planned a little bit more cutscenes, but we had to remove some of them, for example, and choosing which ones to remove or which ones to keep. Or, for example, one of the puzzles at the beginning was super hard. Like, you have to choose between moving there or not. Also, what to keep at the beginning, because even if I love Steam, if the first 2 hours are not good, people can just close the game and refund it and
Yeah.
lose all things there. Or the voice acting. Do we have voice acting or not? Yeah, we're going to have voice acting. Then we have to do a lot of stuff. The animations were mock-up for the cutscenes, and that was good and bad because the studio we did it then with the recording was really, really well, but the handling of the files was not. So I don't know if it was a good decision or not in the end because of the amount of time and money that went there. But it was a decision you have to make. Like, do we go mocap or do we buy a suit and we do it ourselves? And those are money decisions. Or the music, for example, the music I had in mind for the game was different, but when I talked with Nicholas, I trusted his opinion more. But I feel I should have trusted him sooner I didn't take too long to ask him, but I was like, no, I had this in mind for the game. Uh, but then he had other ideas, and once I listened to those ideas, I was like, no, this makes more sense. I pick up, for example, one of the risks that we had was the first cutscene when you talk with Jill over the intercom. We had planned another soundtrack for that, but Nicholas and I agreed that the current one was better, even if it was true Silent Hill. It was obvious that it was a Silent Hill like song, and that was a risk because all the other tracks are more stand more on their own. I feel, and that's nice. But you also run to a risk of this first track they hear. It's too Silent Hill like, so people will be like, "Oh, this is like too much of a clone." So you have to keep a balance between this is inspired by it, but not copying it. So it's hard to decide how much you want to get close to those references without overdoing it. That's a risk. Like Roman was a risk. You, you can go to the Steam forums and you will find people crashing over him. My stance with that was like, I'm not going to reply to any of those because thankfully the community was like, every time someone said something about Roman, there were like 3 people telling him to shut up, and that was nice. But still, you
There's a
will
risk.
see in every video of that were released of that rich people that were not part of the post-trauma fandom. Everyone had an opinion over Roman, and that was a risk. But we stuck with it. Like, no, this has to be Roman. It has to be an old guy, and I like it now. But it was a risk. And I don't know, like animations and what parts to keep on the brand. Like I always say that one of the best examples of like things that made the game better and it was excused to save money was at the beginning you could open and close doors. But at some point I was like, I'm tired of doing the animation of opening doors, and now the enemies are stuck in the doors, and now I have to do the other side of the door, and I have to make the map consistent. And one day I was like, what if I just remove the animation, I do a fade to black, and just teleport on the other side? And I was like, oh,
That
it
works.
feels better. Yeah, that works. It's cheaper and it gives you the mood, and it's kind of similar to the Resident Evil where you had to teleport and you had the animation of opening the door. That was a cutscene. It works. It's cheaper. Let's do that. And that was only because we didn't have money, but at the end, it was something better for the game. So it's day-to-day decision making. Like it's everything is a risk at the end. Like or the having a programmer join the team. Like okay, a programmer needs to join the team. That's a lot of money that we could use in I don't know maybe another animator or more 3D art. But at the end, you have to choose between yeah, but if a programmer joins, I will have more free time to design other parts of the game or to do the marketing or everywhere. It's decision making. It's hard, but at the end, it worked. So
Yeah. I think you managed the risks very well. And yeah,
Mm.
again, the direction of the game, I think, is good. It's very different from what other people have been trying to make with survival horror games. Instead of like chasing behind, um, traditional conventional stuff, you went with your
Mm.
own thing. And like now that I think about it, and even when the game first released, I was thinking about this. So when we first started marketing post drama, I guess with the retweets and everything, I
Mm.
remember people were referring to as a Silent Hill, like, oh, this game looks like Silent Hill a lot. But I think towards the release and after release, I stopped seeing those same comments, at least as frequent. And me
Mm.
personally, I was also thinking when you were first making it, oh, it's like a Silent Hill, like, but yeah, when the game was out, I was like, oh, okay, no, this is its own thing. And
Mhm.
I think that's valuable. I think that shows that you did good with the direction and the risks were worth taking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that was also another of the things that now maybe I will do different. Sorry, my dog is crying here
You're good.
because uh, for example, the guy that did the trailers, she's a beast. Like she did magic with those. Like I only gave him a couple of in-game videos and a tool to record their own stuff inside the game, like a cheat mode. And the trailers were super good. And super, when he showed me what he did with the footage, it was like, how you did this? But at the same time, I feel like that was a bad thing because one of the things I found with the game near the end of the cycle is like people thought we were bigger than we were. Like if this game had PS2 graphics or PS1 graphics, same stuff, but cheaper look, people will have went in with other perspectives. But if you didn't know nothing about the game, nothing about who developed it, it looked more expensive than it was. And that's also the problem with realistic graphics. Like, for example, it can look super cool on screenshots or in videos, but as soon as one animation is a bit more janky, it pulls you off.
Yeah.
But if it was the other way around, like everything is like PS2 looking graphics or more janky everything or retro filters, a janky animation doesn't throw you out. So the expectations of the game near the end were higher than I think what we could deliver for a lot of people. And it's a hard balance of like, okay, maybe we should have went easier on the trailers, maybe, or on the graphics side, because I don't know. And also, it's like really strange because a lot of people think that it's cheaper to make a game with PS2 graphics, and nowadays it's the other way around. It's cheaper to make a game with realistic graphics because if I want to build a metro station, I go into the Unreal Marketplace.
Yeah.
Metro station. I have a realistic one. I edit it, of course, and have a metro station, and I wasted like I don't know $200. Nice, but if I want to make a PlayStation 2 metro station, I have to build it myself because there are not that many asset packs in there. So and that will be like I don't know maybe $2,000.
Mhm.
So, but the perception on the player is different. So that's another reason. Like making realistic graphics was a decision that it was good and bad at the same time, I feel.
That was actually going to be my next question, like related to that, because post trauma, when you were making it, the Unreal Engine horror games were kind of on the rise, but shortly after it stagnated and people went back to retro graphics and PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, like that type of graphics. Were you at any point regretful for going with the realistic approach? At any point where you're like, man, I wish I had make this game in like a retro style. Did that happen at all?
Yes, and no, like because if I went with retro graphics, the, the game wouldn't have come out, basically, because part of what made Postroma feasible is like the screenshots. Because back at that moment, when I was watching your account, like I would say like 70-80% of the games were retro graphics.
Yeah.
So I had to make something different to stand out. And those were like realistic graphics with Unreal Engine. And also thanks to the meta-human thing, I was able to have a realistic human without wasting a lot of money on doing that. And that's what made the game stand out over other games. Because if I go into Steam and search for horror games, there are other games that I feel that have better programming or mechanics than Postroma. But the visual part is worse. Not because it's retro style, but because the art style is it's worse. So, and nowadays, with our TikTok brain rot brains, if the first thing you see from a game doesn't catch your eye, you're lost. So, in the realistic graphics were needed to start the game and to get funding for the game. And if I went with a PS2 style, if I had the money from the beginning, maybe I will do it and it will be a more well-received game. But if I didn't do it, it's like the game wouldn't exist. So I regret it, but I know it was the good decision. Like you had to make it realistic. And also that's what I know what to do. I know how to do realistic graphics. I don't know how to do PS2 style. I could learn how to do it, but it's not what I was used to. So
yeah, I think the PlayStation look or the retro look is very oversaturated, and when some games come above others, they're like better than others. It's usually thanks to their themes and gameplay and whatnot. It's not simply the retro style, because retro style, most of them look like each other, obviously. So, but I think once they have art styles or themes that carry them, then they get carried. But most of the games suffer similar issues because they just simply want to chase the aesthetic too, because it's popular. So I'm glad that you stuck with your own aesthetic. Time for a short break. This episode is sponsored by absolutely no one. Game dev is not easy is something I create in my spare time while juggling a full-time job and some part-time gigs. If you enjoy the show and want to help keep it going, you can support it through the Ko-fi link below. Every donation makes a real difference, and supporters get their names featured in the end credits as a thank you. Anyways, thank you, bye. Now that we talked a little about post-trauma, its creation, its conception, I want to talk a little about development process and challenges on the way. To start with, so obviously you used Unreal Engine, we know that, but this is just to help other devs, I guess, have an idea. What were the other tools that you frequently used that were part of your day-to-day workflow, you'd say?
Day-to-day, I mean, with Unreal now you can do a lot of stuff, but obviously it depends on what's your role. Because if you are a solo dev but you want to do everything on your own, one person army, sorry, you will need Blender at least. Learn Blender. We also use for animation, we use Maya, but I will right now I can learn Blender. It's amazing that tool is free, and I still have to learn how to do it properly, but you will need it. As much as I hate Adobe, I had to use Photoshop every single day. But there are free alternatives out there that are really good, but because just force of habit, and that's what I knew how to use. I start with Photoshop. And another tool we use, it was Villanote, was called, like a board for uploading images and notes and everything that was shared between other people. And for coding, I used Visual Studio. Like with those, you pretty much have almost everything. On top of that, you can have as many as you want. Like, for example, one of the tools I like to use for creating materials is Substance Designer, which is to make procedural materials. Like, I want to make a plot, but I don't want to find a photo reference for that. I can make it inside that program with math and notes and all that stuff. But you can also have like Substance Painter, which is to paint your models directly on top of the model. It's a mix of both. Like it's I would say, like, don't focus too much on the tools if you want to get into here. Like, just have an idea of what you want to make. Start with a small game and once you are doing that game, you will reach a point like, oh, I need to, I don't know, make a car for this game, and I don't want to buy another game already made car. So you were like, how to make a car in 3D, and you will find a tutorial, and that tutorial will show you tools, and that's how you will learn what things you need. Like if you try to learn the tools before having a goal on where to apply them, you will not be motivated to learn them. But if you are doing it the other way around, like I'm making a game and now I need to do this thing, what tool I should use to do this thing?
Mm.
I don't know. I
That's
feel it more.
That's a really good point, because I think it's a struggle that people have these days in game dev or in content creation, because people feel like if they spend money on these things that they're gonna be more successful even before, if they
No.
know that they need them or not. Like for example, in content creation, you're starting streaming and you get the most expensive microphone, most expensive camera, and it's like you still have 2 viewers. So how do you fix that? And yeah, in game dev too, I guess that's a good advice. First, test that you actually need this thing. Try to do it with your tools, with the tools that you have, and then see if you really want to learn this new tool or even like purchase this new tool.
Yeah.
Because tools are expensive, man. Especially like Adobe, we talked about it. It's expensive, but yeah, that's a good advice, I'd say.
Yeah, and for having fun, like there are alternatives to try them for free. So try them, and that's it. But if you just want to make games, just download Unreal, download Unity, any engine you want. If you are doing a 2D game, go for Unity. If you are doing 3D, I will say go for Unreal. But with that alone, have fun and try it, and that's it. Like just start. Don't overcomplicate your head with no. I need to learn this. No. Just start and have fun, and at some point you will know what you need.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say like a good starting point for people? So obviously you started with like map making back in Gears of War, but these days, like let's say somebody after this video, they decided, man, I want to make a video game. Okay, they downloaded Unreal. Now it's like a foreign language. Now what?
I mean, I will say like I don't remember the name of that channel, but there was a channel on YouTube that instead of making games, he copied mechanics from games. Like, for example, he played Death Stranding, and then he said like, "Oh, I like how he does the map thing, pulsating, so I'm going to copy that." That's a good thing. Like, copy a good game. Like, oh, I like a lot. I don't know, Doom. Make your own Doom in Unity or Unreal. Like, copy it. Like, you can also like find there's like a, what's it called, sprite resource or model resource where people upload games read from models, and you can use them as is. Like, obviously you can release games made with those, but you have the exact same model that you use in the game, so you can use that model. You don't have to worry about, no, we don't have a player character. No, you have a lot of those. So I would say just find something somewhat small or something you are familiar with and try to copy it. And while you are copying it, you will learn what you need, because that's also another thing you have to do with tutorials. Every time you watch tutorial, learn things you are doing so you can apply them to other stuff of your own. Because if not, if you're just copy pasting the code, like if you, for example, if with coding, that's a good example. If you're watching a coding tutorial, never ever copy paste the code that they give you. If the code's on screen, yes, it's on screen on your second screen, and type it like letter by letter. I know it sounds down, but you will learn every word and more or less interiorize why you are doing that. If you just, oh, I need a character contour to make my character walk, I will copy paste this one from this tutorial and put it here. It will work, but you will not learn.
Yeah.
So it's that, like, just find something small that you want to do and start doing it. Just start. That's it. Just start. It doesn't matter if it's Unity or Unreal. Just start doing stuff. and eventually you will get it. It will be overwhelming at first, but everyone is. And also, one thing nowadays is that you have a lot of help online,
Yeah.
a lot of forums, a lot of people wanting to give you advice. YouTube is filled of tutorials that should be paid, and it's free, and it's there. You have practice, you have game devs, game makers toolkit. There's a lot of channels, and it doesn't matter if it's for Unreal or Unity. Like, it's more or less interchangeable. So it's, I don't know, yes, start.
Yeah, I think a good starting point is to simply go to YouTube and type the engine that you want to use and then tutorial, because they have some for Unreal,
Yes.
Unity, RPG Maker, Godot, whatever it is that you want to make. Because
Yeah.
it, like back in the day, yes, it was like free labor, but nowadays, because you have like ad money and everything, people are more incentivized to make these free guides because they're going to get paid from YouTube, for example. Like, don't go and just buy a lecture from Udemy. Maybe you're going to need it. Maybe it's going to be good, but you don't have to do that at all. At least when you're beginning, or when you like throughout your entire game dev career. That's good advice. People waste a lot of money purchasing these lectures, these tools, and they like start being so extremely overwhelmed, and then they just give up, because game dev, much like anything else, is about consistency. You got to be consistent. You got to keep pushing, and if you can't get over a blockage, you got to figure out how to get over that. Like you said, instead of copying someone else's solution, implement that solution into your project by using your own fingers, right, instead of copying. It's a lot of consistency and trial and error. Yeah, good advice there.
Yeah.
But so speaking of engines, and you're using Unreal Engine, but pretty much every engine has these hurdles or design systems that take much longer than expected to implement. Like, for example, doors, right? The age old.
That's a problem everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
for you, like, were there any major technical hurdles or limitations or design systems, like I said, that like took longer than you expected? They were like, man, why is it so difficult? It shouldn't be that difficult. Like, were they things like this, especially in Unreal Engine, because that's what you used?
Yeah, like I mean, it's not that I don't want to overhate Unity, but I've worked with Unity for like almost 10 years, and I switched to Unreal for this game. I've everything I did before with Unreal was like hobby time, on my free time. So it's not. I know both, and both are good for specific stuff. Like, for example, one thing that I really hated in Unreal that was easy to do in Unity is the UI. The inventory menu, the systems. With Unity, it has less features. With Unreal, you have more features, but that also means it's more complicated. And with Unreal, it's as soon as you mix mouse and keyboard with a gamepad, doing UI with Unreal is horrible. Because if you are using your gamepad and you take the mouse at some point of the screen, suddenly you lose the focus of the game, and you can't use your gamepad. You have to pick the mouse and move over an option in the menu, and then you regain the control. But the player doesn't know that, so suddenly the player only, like, you're playing with your elbow, you move a little bit the mouse, and suddenly the game is responding. So fixing that with Unreal was a pain in the ass. Like, I have to do this. But the other way around, animation with Unreal, like doing a context animation system and changing or making that the character holds the weapon certain thing. With Unreal, that's not super easy, but has a lot of tools for that. With Unity, you don't have those tools, so it will take longer. So at the end, every engine has its own things, and for starting, it doesn't matter which one you choose. It doesn't matter which one you choose. Like, just pick one, and that's it. But Post-Trauma is a game that benefits. Like Unreal, Post-Trauma is a game that has had to be made with Unreal. I feel. Like I couldn't have made post-trauma with Unity.
Yeah.
Not in a reasonable amount of time, and it would have taken longer, and it would have looked worse. So that's why I chose Unreal. It looks better, but that's also why there's a lot of hate over Unreal. Like by default, it looks better, so a lot of people don't improve it, the default look, and they stick with the default look because the default look looks better. That's why you also see a lot of Unreal Engine games looking the same, because why should I use time
It
here
already
if
looks
it
good.
already looks good?
Yeah.
Yeah. With Unity, by default, it doesn't look good, so you have to put your effort there. That's why Unity games look more different from each other. But that's time you have to use on that part. So yeah. Also with engines, like one thing I like about with Unreal about over Unity is the Unreal team uses Unreal to make games. The Unity team doesn't use Unity to make games, and that shows like things that Unreal uses on Fortnite that they had, like for example the animation system I'm talking about. They suddenly implemented the skins on Fortnite. Now they have like a banana guy or Peter Griffin, but they have to use the animation from the base models, so they built a system to share animation between models. They did that too, and then they gave it to all the developers. I'm like, oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's a feature
Fortnite is
that
like a tech demo, I guess, then for Unreal.
it is a tech demo, yeah, and even if it's a game I don't enjoy, but out of tools that are used on that game are free for all Unreal Engine developers for free. So like it shows with Unity, it's a good tool. Like that's why a lot of people use it, and I recommend it if you're doing something in 2D or something where you need a lot of custom made stuff, or I don't know. Like I don't want to get super technical, but it's good for a lot of stuff. But it shows that the team is not using the tools that they program, and that over the years it hurts. Like if you use this for 10 minutes, you will know that you have a bug here in this part of the game, in this part of the engine. And with Unreal, it takes like time to fix bugs because they find it sooner. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but
yeah. No, I get it. It's really interesting you say it that way, because that's usually my biggest problem with games and game design. Like as someone who also works in games, but not like too well versed into the development or game design side of things. Whenever I play a game and I see like a really tedious system, something that I don't like enjoy, the first thing that I think, have you played your own game? Like, do you play your own game? That's usually like, for example, we talked about Destiny and lots of systems in Destiny.
Yes.
Like, are you guys playing your own games?
Yes.
And so it's good. It's really interesting that you said that about Unreal, and they are using their own engine, and that's why it's the engine that you chose. But another thing about Unreal. Oh, I heard my own voice. I sometimes get the feedback. Another thing about Unreal that I want to ask you specifically about Unreal, because I don't think Unity has this, or maybe it does. I'm not sure. The blueprint system. So you know how to code. You know how that works. But me, for example, I don't know how coding works. That's why I chose Unreal at first to learn, because it has the blueprint system. What do you think about that? Like, do you think somebody can just make their games all their life without learning a single line of code? Can you do that with the blueprint system, do you think? Or should they try and learn coding? I guess it's like playing guitar with the tabs or sitting down and learning the notes. Like, what do you think about that?
Like, first of all, I want to say that coding with blueprints is coding. And never let anyone tell you that you are less of a programmer because you're using boxes instead of lines of code. No. You are coding. Like, so you can, because back again I started working on games thanks to mods. On years of work, you have the Kismet, which is the precursor of Blueprints,
Mm-hmm.
and there you had those boxes to do small stuff on the level. And those boxes, if you read the Years of War making of, allow the game designers and the non-programmer part of the team to prototype stuff fast. So, like the boomers on Years of War came because one level designer just picked an enemy and scaled it big and look cool this is. So that was thanks to those boxes. So when I went to Unity, I found it weird that for all things you need to write a script. I felt that it was making me slower. So I got used to it. And when I went to Unreal, I had to use boxes again. I was like, no, boxes are slower because I have to. I think that I could do in a line of code, I have to use 10 different boxes. So it's what you guys, it's what you get used to. Sorry. And with Blueprints, you can code 99% of the game. Like, I think the only parts in post-trauma that are not Blueprints are maybe the same system and things related with the achievements and all that stuff. But because we have a backlog with the to send to 3 different backlogs of Steam, PlayStation, and Xbox, so both had to be done with code. But you don't need code.
Mm-hmm.
For some things, it's faster. I would recommend trying it at least. I give it a go, and even if I fucking hate AI, I hate it. For asking the AI, like, hey, how do I declare this thing in C++? It can help you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overuse it because everything he throws up to you, it's really bad. But for quick reference, well, it will work. But blueprints are what is really is based on the blueprint system, and with that you can make anything. Like I can't think of a game that you couldn't make with those. Maybe an RTS where you need a lot of systems, or a game like Football Manager, which have a lot of backend stuff or a lot of databases. Maybe for those use code, but for an action game, an FPS, a horror game, visual novel, all of those you can do it with blueprints, and it will run well, and it will have everything you need in there. So, and it's programming again. Like because I heard some people don't pay attention to the guide on your workplace. Let's say like, oh, you're using blueprints. You're not a real coder. Shut up, bro. I'm making a game. It works. It runs. It's a game. It's code. I'm coding. That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of like validated what I had in mind too. Because yeah, whenever I was first shopping for game engines to, where do I even begin? I always feel like I'm too old to learn coding. I can probably do it. I can, like, if I sit down and go for it, I could do it. But yeah,
I think you can because okay, for me, coding, I like coding because, again, not boxes, not code. Like coding, for me, it's a puzzle game. You have a problem, and you have to find the solution to that problem, and it's a puzzle game. Like you have to use the tools you have to solve that problem. And if you approach coding as I'm solving a puzzle, it's more fun. I don't know. So if you try it that way, I think you will have fun.
But would you say that, okay, then, yeah, like blueprints work, they're great, then you can make an entire game. Would you still say that it's valuable for a game dev to still learn coding while using the blueprint system? Should they, like, chase that? Should they get lectures about that? Should they at least spend time on that?
I will say, if you are starting, don't worry about it. But if you want to work on it, at least learn a little bit. Because I feel like, for example, a game designer, which is someone who doesn't need to code, if he knows how to code, he will give better feedback and better systems. Or just learning how to go. Like, yeah, you can make a game with all blueprints, with all boxes, but if you know how to code, maybe you can make a custom box. Like, for example, when I was making Boss Trauma and you had more than one enemy in screen, you lock on an enemy and I had to find the next one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
That with boxes you could do it, but it was a lot of math, and writing math with boxes it's annoying because for its operation you have to have a box, and with code it was just a line of code. So I made that box that was that thing. I was like, find enemy to the right, find enemy to the left, and it was a box that I could call inside Unreal. But behind the scene it was just 3 lines of code I wrote in C++. So that gives you more options. You could do it with full blueprints. You could make a macro for that and not use it again. But sometimes it's faster to make it there.
Mm.
And also, yes, try it. Like, because sometimes you are scared of like this thing will be too hard for me to learn. But maybe it's not. Like, just start, and if you don't like it, drop it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't know that you don't owe anyone anything. Like, if you're doing it for fun, and it's free online, find a course for like free Unity C Sharp tutorial. Okay, I will copy paste it. Maybe I have fun. Maybe I like it. Maybe I hate it from the first day, and I know I will never like it. Then drop it. It's fine. So at least try it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, it's whatever.
Good advice
That's
for young devs. Yeah, because I think a lot of people are intimidated by coding, and because of the years-long stigma against it. Oh man, coding. I was awake until 4 a.m. in the morning just coding, and my code broke. And I think people get overwhelmed hearing these horror stories. But yeah, it's not that bad.
That will happen with blueprints too. So it's no.
That's actually related to my next question for you. So during the development of Post Trauma, were there at any point where you were like, man, screw this, I don't want to make this game anymore? Like, was there a burnout point, a creative block during the development? And first, if that happened, 2, how did you deal with it?
Okay, so that happened. Like, I had some points in where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, because when you are starting, everything's super cool, but there will be some point in development where you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do this anymore. I overcame it with other people depended on me. So that's what motivated me to push through. So that's it. And about the creative block that also happened, I had to ask for help. Like, for example, at some point I was stuck with, I don't know what puzzles to add here. So I asked publisher, like, can we find a puzzle designer and just freelance some puzzles and some ideas I could use? And that's how I just asked help from friends, and that's how I got out of that creative block. Like, I asked for help, I asked for opinions. But yeah, it happened a lot, and I'm bored out. And right now I am not doing games anymore. Like, I don't want to do it for now because it was very stressful. Like, making something of my own, something I wanted to do, and now that I did it, I'm proud of it. But it was hard. Up until like started working in a new job like last Monday. But before finding that job, I was like, now what do I do? And I was doing prototypes of other games, but not because I wanted to do them. I was doing prototypes so I could find a publisher and earn a living again. Because I'm not getting money right now from the game, because until the publisher recoups their money, I don't see anything. So, and I was super bored, and I am still bored now. Like post-trauma bored me. And it's, I know I will eventually come back to make my own games, but it will be on a smaller scale and maybe what I'm working on a normal day job. Yeah, it's hard. Like and it will happen. It doesn't matter if you're making the best game of your life, or at some point you will be tired of what you're doing and you have to find a reason to keep going, because it happens on every single development. I feel like it doesn't matter if it's your own game, a game for another person, or a game you've been working on 10 years. I don't know. It's like, it will happen.
Yeah.
At least with me.
No, I think that's a very common thing. But going back to that first time where you wanted to stop working on the game, what triggered it? What was the reason for that?
I honestly don't remember. I think it was like mental burn, like because the drawbacks of being a small team is that I had to do a lot of works, also a lot of jobs. Like I had to do puzzle design, I had to do programming, I had to do marketing, audio, give feedback to the artists, give feedback to the. So I was more time doing a lot of tasks instead of doing what I wanted only, which is like the light part, the make it look good. And also, even if I was doing those tasks because a lot of people depended on me, asked me for feedback, that was also breaking my flow. I was hyper focused on something, flowing really well, and I had a message for someone like, "Hey, I need help with this," and I had to help them. But that broke my flow, and that over the development time accumulated. And at some point, I was like, I need to stop. And I think I stopped for a few days. Eventually, I came back because other people needed me. And yeah. And I also had to finish the game, because if I don't finish the game, I'm in big trouble financially. So it also helps.
I guess for your return, this is both for you and something that I saw other devs do for their comeback projects. I think game jams could be a nice alternative.
Maybe. I have some. The good thing about doing games is that eventually you meet a lot of people that have your similar interests, and I am still friends with people from the other company, and maybe with them I will do something short. But not right now. Eventually, I think I will.
Yeah, of course. You're creative.
And I was watching the other day, like, I think it's called 1408. I don't know, the Stephen King movie about one guy in a robot room. And I was watching them, and the whole time I was thinking, this should be a game. Like, it's super easy to do. It's just one room, other room, and do puzzles there. I could make a game of this in, I don't know, 2-hour game. And I wanted to do it, but then I sat on the computer and was like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. So eventually I will sit on the computer and I will be like, nah, I want to do it. So, but I don't know when.
But yeah, you have the voices in your head. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah, always. Yeah.
But yeah, the burnout is very, very understandable. That's like, I told you last year I was very burnt out. I stopped creating content and the podcast had to stop. It was because of work-related burnout. So I understand. Yes. And I think that's like a very common experience with game dev, especially if you're also like working with a publisher. You have to like abide by milestones, schedules, contractual obligations, all that jazz. You get like an extra responsibility on yourself, and especially if you're not used to like leading a project, then you have like this extra stress. So that's very understandable. Then kind of brighten the mood. Then another question about development. What part of the development are you most proud of? Like, just this could be anything, just making something in the game, or like running the team, or helping someone, like something a dev team would
Yeah.
truly appreciate.
I don't know. Like, what I'm proud of is that uh, I'm super proud of everyone in the team. Like, I I like that if I wanted to make a new game, I had the money, first of all. I could contact them all and I will contact those people again and say, okay, let's get together again. I will pay you whatever you're working on right now and let's go back here. And I feel like they will come back. So that's something I like. Like I met some super awesome people. And more personal stuff, I will say like I'm really proud of the visual identity. I think we managed to do something that looks like post trauma. I don't know how to say like it. Like you see a screenshot and no, this is post trauma. Like even if we use
It's unique, yeah.
pre-made assets and everything, yeah, it's more unique. I also super fan of the soundtrack. Like and listen to the drum track on its own. I'm super happy with me. Nicolas was amazing and was really nice. Going to Gamescom was a super nice experience. Even if I feel it was not as valuable right now after that, but for me it was an experience like meeting a lot of media and people interacting with the game and giving their thoughts.
We met there too.
It was yes, I remember. Last year, saw you? Yeah. No, it was
No, it was before that.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a lot of experiences. I hope they will arrive. Like maybe I don't know when, but I should have soon the physical disc. I want to have that and frame it and just being able to say, "Hey, we made this. It's really really nice." So just working on something from start to finish and people being able to play it and seeing some reviews out there. Like I watched a review of, I think it was Avalanche Reviews. And he did a 40-minute video of the game and I was watching, I was like, dude, this person really liked the game. Like when you see someone play something you made and they enjoying it, it's really it's really rewarding. Like it's like, dude, this person is happy and it's playing something we made, because near the end of the development is when you are most tired and when the most doubts you have, most like, I don't know if people are going to like this, is I think it's bad, I don't know, we should have done these things, these other things. There's a problem here, if the project touches this, it's a bug, or but then people play it and enjoy it and they don't see the things that you see and they see better things, and like that's really nice. Like just being able to see that, like I know it's really nice.
I think that's the thing about being creative, making an art, writing something, making music. It's to see people experience and take something out of it that you didn't even originally plan. Like, oh, this guy found this out about the game. This guy, you know, it touched his soul in this way, and you weren't even like considering that in the first place. I think that's really fascinating about being a creative and being a game dev. Because games are more intimate when it comes to like experiencing them. You're like actually there playing the game in like first person, not like point of view, but like you're experiencing it directly. So I think they're more intimate in that way. Well, coming back to then working with a publisher, now that we went through post-trauma or development and now publisher, one of the biggest topics that solo devs usually have these days. How did your relationship with your publisher come about? I know they found you out, right? You didn't pitch the game to them. How did you guys meet?
No, my approach for finding a publisher was, instead of pitching to them, and that's something I would recommend to any game developer, is like first make something playable
Mm.
to show that you can make the game. Because even if you have the best idea in the world, a pitch, everyone has ideas. Like anyone who's a game in depth will know someone that told him like, "Hey, I don't know how to code, I don't know how to do art, but I have a really good idea." I'm like, every single person on earth has ideas.
Yeah.
You should be able to prove that you can make them. So first, try to make something playable. And my idea was like, okay, first I'll do a demo, see how it goes, prove that I can make something, and use that demo to pitch it to publishers. Thanks to your account and the reach and everything, the demo got more attention than I expected, so that's a good thing. And I was lucky that publishers contacted me instead of the other way around.
Mm.
So I was able to choose between different offers. But again, the other way around, you need something playable.
Yeah.
And that's why I focused on that. Like make something first playable. My initial pitch was really, really bad. Like my pitch document was horrible. And one of the person, one of the guys, helped me make a better pitch. And he told me like, "Hey, I'm going to help you make a better pitch, and I don't care if you use this pitch to show it to other publishers." And thanks to him, and thanks to the person, I had a better pitch. I wanted to go with that publisher, but their higher ups took too long to reply, and I was scared, and I was also running out of time and savings. So I told them, "Hey, I stuck with you because this person here, but if everything's going to take that long, I don't feel comfortable working with you." So I went to Raw Fury, and I also talked with Red XP. That was my second. I was almost signing with them, but in the end, I chose Raw Fury because they were bigger. I think, I don't know, the device, I like them a little bit better, but at the end, it's just you have to trust your gut and choose one.
Yeah.
But also, don't be discouraged about someone telling you no.
Yeah.
Because maybe the person who checked your pitch doesn't like it, but the other does, from the same company. So you never know. So
Yeah. As someone who also sees a lot of pitches and helps people make their pitch decks better. Yeah. If someone tells you no, go ask somebody else in the same company, or maybe go in, make your pitch better, and then pitch it again. But yeah, like you said, pitch deck without a playable build usually don't mean much. Whenever people send me pitch decks, right? For example, they want to pitch to Critical Reflex, I tell them I can take this and I can share this with my biz dev team and we can take a look at this. But as your friend and horror visuals,
yes,
I recommend you to make a playable build and then pitch the game. You're not in a rush. We're not in a rush. Just pitch it when the build is ready. And that 99% of the time, that works better. Like for a pitch to work good and be enough by itself, the pitch has to be really damn good.
Yes.
And that's so difficult to make.
Yes.
Especially these days when publishers are less keen on taking risks, rightfully so. The games industry is crumbling right now, especially now that they're not taking risks. You have to show them a playable demo, something playable that they can like check out and get a feel of and be like, oh, okay, this person, one, can make this game. Two, okay, this plays well. So what you had there was like the perfect approach. You made your demo, put it out there, saw what people were thinking about the game, and then it happened naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, part of the pitch was screenshots of streamers playing the game. Like, hey, look at this streamer with 3,000 viewers playing the game, and this other one, and this other one. And I think that's what got me the deal. Like, it was we already had a base behind. But again, it's like do something playable. It doesn't have to be super polished, but at least make something small, something vertical. Try to use as don't use too many placeholders, or if it's something that's placeholder, make it super obvious of placeholder. Because I also feel like when I was working on the other company we pitched to other people, the person that's reviewing your pitch sometimes, and it's sad, but a lot of people who work in games do not know when something is not finished.
Yeah.
So make it look as finished as possible, even if it's something super short, but make it look as good as possible. And if it's something there that's not finished, don't use something more or less finished. Use something like obviously placeholder. Like if you need to make a box instead of a building, you have a white giant box in that part of the level instead of a half-made building that looks more or less good, because the people reviewing it would think that that's your final art style. And I don't know, it's something I picked up, like everything ended from the eyes, and if they don't know that no, this part is going to be better. I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying, but it's like the visual, the sound, the feel, make it as good as possible, even if it's something that only lasts 5 minutes.
Mhm.
You don't need to do a big, depends on the length of game, of course, but like it's better to make something that lasts 5 minutes and is super good that a playable bit that runs for an hour, but it's half made. I don't know.
Yeah. Most of the time, even if it's not like a engaging thing, most people don't even play it for a whole hour. They just get the core idea and they're like, okay, let's either move on or pass. And like you said, most of the time in most publishers, I'm speaking from experience, from my old experiences in publishing, most biz dev people who check out your pitch, they're not gamers. They don't know how to make games. They don't play games. They just look at it from like, is this profitable or not? They have their metrics. They have their KPIs. They look at the games as like any other product. You could put that person to a car dealership and they could also sell a car.
Yeah.
That's just what they do. But at least that's changing now that you have these like up and coming smaller publishers, or publishers like Raw Fury, DreadXP, Critical Reflex, right? At least there's now hope. At least there are people actually playing games and making games who check these pitches now. So you have a better chance of getting notice and people understanding if something is placeholder or not. But bigger publishers, they still have these issues, unfortunately. But I think it's improving. Yeah. But yeah, that's really good advice on placeholders. If you have a placeholder, make sure that it's noticeable, and like go and write placeholder on it if you want, just like big red text placeholder.
Exactly. Yeah. Because the car salesman will see like, this is not okay. This is placeholder. Okay, they will understand it. If not,
exactly. Like you gotta make it so that anybody who plays that game, even like your neighbor, if he plays that game, they'll understand. Okay, this is a placeholder. You have to make it really understand.
Also, please, if someone, if a big publisher approaches you and offers you money and everything, don't say yes to the first offer you hear.
Yeah,
please. Exactly. Hear at least two.
Yeah,
but please don't say yes to the first one, because
if you're getting that many offers, if you're getting at least like 3 or 4 offers, that means people want your game. You don't have to rush unless you're like you really need the money, like yourself, right? But if you don't need to rush, just wait for it. Wait for them to take the decision. Make the best offer and take the best offer. The best offer could be the money. The best offer could be the working with the best people. It could be anything. It depends on what you are looking for from the deal. But going back to just publishing stuff, as an indie dev yourself, what is something you observed about other indie devs and the misconceptions that they might have about working with publishers? Like, is it all sunshine and rainbows? Do you think that's a misconception? Like, have you noticed anything about that
No,
recently?
I don't know other people like, but everything has good things and bad things. Right?
Mm.
The good thing about the most obvious thing about working with a publisher is like I didn't have the financial burden. Like for example, if the game was not right now, the game is not profitable. I don't know if like, but that's not a problem for me right now. I can't. I don't have to pay the money back. I'm not. Uh, it's not a risk for me. It's a risk for the publisher.
Yeah.
And if the publisher is not risking money, don't sign with them. Don't listen to them. Like no, the financial risk is on them, not on you. That gives you a peace of mind that lets you focus on the game. Like okay, now I can focus on the game. I don't have to worry about I owe the bank a lot of money and the game has to be profitable. That helps you a lot. It would also depend on the publisher. Like Raw Fury, thankfully, that gives you a lot of creative freedom, and they are not tied to milestones. With other publishers, you are tied to milestones, and you have to deliver certain things that might sound obvious at the beginning. Like in 3 months, you have to have the combat system, but maybe you start working on the game and you realize that we should be working on the on the inventory instead of combat system because it's very important. But if you have tied on the contract that you have to do this, that could be a problem. Also, I think nowadays it's easier to communicate with big stores. So for a publisher for that can help you, but it's not as needed as before. Like if you want to port a game to PlayStation or make a deal with other big partner, it's easier to do it nowadays than back in the day. Back in the day, you needed a publisher 100% if you wanted to release on consoles, for example. Now you could do it on your own. It's harder, but you can do it. But it depends on your needs. I will say if you have money, if money is not a problem for you, I will say don't go for a publisher. Unless you are looking for more expertise on marketing. But if you know your target audience, you could do it on your own. Like it's like you have to put in a balance what things do you need, what things you already have, and what the publisher can offer you. And be careful with some publishers because I've seen publishers that, like for example, I remember one offer that was like, "Hey, we can port your game into PlayStation, and of your profits." I'm like, but they were only offering.
Hold on.
The port.
Hold on. Your camera froze there. I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
what was it? What did they offer you?
Yeah, they offer like if we can port your game to PlayStation, and we're only asking for 50% of the earning of the whole game. Like the fuck are you talking about?
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money for the absolutely nothing. Like it's like, bro, what the fuck? But maybe someone who's inexperienced sees that and sees like, oh, my game will be on a console. That's super nice. No, it's not, bro. Like they are scamming you. So be careful.
Yeah.
But it's a thing of needs. Like if you need help, like I signed with a publisher because I needed help with money, of course. But I also wanted to do other stuff. Like I didn't want to take care of porting. I didn't want to take care of Q&A. Like they did the Q&A and they sent me the results back, and it was amazing. I didn't want to do it myself. I didn't want to. Well, I needed help to find other people for the game. Or like I needed like, hey, if I need to hire a writer, you know writers? Yeah, we do. So that's a good asset that publisher can give you. Or I don't know, things that you don't want to do or do not or can't do, a publisher can help you with those. If they only give you money and that's it, that's strange.
Yeah.
They should offer more than money. And 100% if there's not like, if the money they're offering you is not, I don't know how to say, like if you have to pay it back, even if the game doesn't recover the money right away, they are scamming you again.
Red flag.
Yeah. It's, you will feel like, for example, one of the, there, I can't say the name, but it was a big publisher. And the interviews I had with them, they were asking questions from a spreadsheet. And it was a big publisher, like a really big publisher, but it's like, hey, what are your goals for revenue on the game? Or what concepts you want to, like, things that were already explained on the pitch.
Did you guys check the
Things that,
pitch?
yeah, or no, or things like, what makes this game different for not, like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? But then I got talked with the publisher for like, oh, I really like the demo, I like this thing, and it was like talking with you, like, oh, it's someone who enjoyed what I did, and they are asking questions that make sense. So you will feel it, like,
Yeah.
like so. I don't know. Yeah. I would say right now, if you have the money, you probably don't need a publisher, but it's a bigger risk. It's more on your head. And that peace of mind helps a lot to develop. Just knowing that you can ask for advice to someone who's risking a lot of money on you, it helps with the development.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if there are some, not everything is cool. There are some things that I had my differences with their Fury, but I still feel like they are a really, really good publisher.
Mm-hmm.
But no publisher is perfect. Like I don't think there's a single publisher of them that will be 100% perfect.
Otherwise,
Maybe
everybody
yours,
would work with them. No, like
Yes,
every
exactly.
publisher has issues, and
But exactly.
yeah, that's a very normal thought about them. But yeah, there are a lot of scammers out there, and that's exactly why, one of the reasons why I'm making this podcast, and why other people are also talking about their experiences with publishers. Yeah, just be careful. And one thing that I always recommend people before they start working with a publisher, if it's like still a small or like well-known publisher, regardless, talk to the past devs, talk to other developers who worked with that publisher, and listen to their experience, and then decide, right? Don't just take the deal. The deal might sound too good to be true. Don't just take it and run. There are a lot of like contractual obligations that come with it, the people that you work with, the things that you don't have in the contract but you still should talk about. There's a lot of variables, and be really careful. Like, I can't stress that enough. And like, as always, I say this in all of the episodes. If you need advice on working with a certain publishers, I could help you with that. I'm biased. I'm sure Roberto would help you too if you like DM him and ask.
Yes.
Because we want to help you. We don't want you to get scammed by publishers, right? And I'm not gonna tell you, oh yeah, come work with our publishers. No. So I'm biased. I would like tell you, don't do this or do this. They're great. I know pretty much all of the publishers in the business now. Just be careful and don't hesitate to ask for help. That's like the most important thing. And
yes,
one thing that you mentioned when we were talking earlier, this is another thing that I think people should know about. You said that you haven't got anything from the game because the publisher hasn't recouped the cost that the spent yet. How does that work? I know how it works, but most devs don't know that, and they think that after the game is out, you're just gonna make millions of dollars. Like, how does that work? Tell us.
I really wish it worked like that, but no. Like, most of the time, like, it depends on the publisher, but most of them, what they do is they give you a certain amount of money to make the game. Some publisher will give you all in one, but most of them will give you month by month or by milestones. But that's money for making the game. And let's say I am making up the numbers. So let's say they give you $1 million to make the game. After the game's out, they have to earn that $1 million.
Yeah.
And once that $1 million is recouped by them, then you start splitting the winnings. It would depend on the policy. Roughly, I feel it's like. Thankfully, one of the things that why I think with them, why I signed with them is that the contract is public. You can do the website. I downloaded. It's they have to earn that $1 million plus 5%, I think, and then you can split those earnings 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Every new dollar after the $1 million will be 50 cents for you, 50 cents for the policy. So it depends. There are some other policies that their deal is, okay, instead of keeping the money, what I want to do is, I don't remember the policy, but one policy I worked in the back in the day in the other company was, okay, before we recover our money, what we are going to do is we're going to take 70% of the earnings and you get 30. And once we recoup, we'll be 50-50. It depends. Like, it's not a fixed deal on all of the policies, but all of them have to recover the money they invested with you. And if it's a good policy, like, you don't have to worry about the game not doing well. Like, if they paid you $1 million and the game makes $100, it's their problem, not yours.
Yeah.
And please make sure of that, because if it's not like that, they are scamming you and they are not investing in you. They are just that for that thing go to a bank instead of with them.
Yeah.
So that's more or less the basic version. Like, it depends from policy to policy, but most of them it's like that. Like, they give you money, they give you other services, of course. They have to earn their money back, and then they split the winnings with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Read the contract carefully. Again, ask for help.
Yes.
Ask for other people to read the contracts. Do not sign anything that you're unsure about. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. For example, we also sometimes work with milestones, sometimes work with how you worked. It depends on the project, what the dev wants, what we want from the dev. It depends. Just make sure that the contract fits for you. And if you don't like how the contract is made, ask for an alternative. Ask, hey man, can't we do it this way? Because they want your game, right? And you probably want to work with them. So ask for an alternative. Don't sell yourself short, right? You have you have the product. They want the product. Just be confident and don't be afraid to ask for an alternative. Another thing about publishers that most people are curious about, which is what I'm also curious about your experience with Raw Fury, creative freedom. How much of it did you have? Was there at any point Raw Fury, just punch through the door, come in, you can't do it this way, change it? Like, was there at any point something like that happened?
Thankfully, with them was like I had the final word on everything. They obviously suggest stuff because in the end, everyone wants to make money back. Like if a publisher suggests you to change stuff, it's not because they don't like your game. It's because they feel with them that I have, which could be right or wrong, but with their intention is to make money of your game and make the game to be better. But thankfully, with Raw Fury, I had like all the creative freedom. I've changed some things. What I say, for example, it made the puzzles a little bit easier because of some feedback that we got with them. But other than that, no, they were like, we signed with you because we liked your game and we like your demo. So that's why we are giving you money. Don't make another game that is not on your head, because it doesn't make sense. So unless you are doing something super crazy, you should be fine. And if publisher is not like that, if a publisher is more, no, do it as I say, 100% or be mad, that's strange.
Red flag.
That's a red flag. And if you, before signing, you talk with any other past devs, they will instantly tell you that, like, hey, these guys did this and don't sign with them. But I don't know, like it's strange for a publisher to do that. Like I don't see. I feel like even the one that I said that they were reading questions from a spreadsheet. I knew devs that worked with them,
Mm.
and they had some bad things, but creative freedom was not one of them.
Mhm.
Like even those guys knew, like, okay, we signed with you. We trust your game. It's your game. Do what you want.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. I didn't have any doubts. Just wanted to confirm because most publishers, especially these days, they don't even want to like change anything in your game. They just want to leave you to it.
No.
Do what you do best. We'll just reap the rewards. They like not to sound like bad negative here, but they don't even want to spend the effort on like making those changes on your game. But yeah, they could always like recommend things to you, give feedback, take it or leave it. This is why we're telling this to you, and like they have to give you a good reason for it. For example, it happened in one of my projects. There was like a marketing beat that was going to happen, and the developer had another idea, another way of doing the certain thing, but I told him, no, let's do it this way. Trust me on this one. We've done this before. We have this proven. And then we ended up finding like a middle point, and then both sides were happy. Like, don't be afraid to say no when you're suggested something. Don't feel like you have to take the feedback, just like you did. You just take the feedback, and if it's something that you agree with, you make the change. If not, it's all good. Yeah, no publisher is gonna be like, make the change, or I fire you and take the IP to myself.
No.
That like I
Because
think very rarely happens.
I don't think no. Because I'm just like every time they ask you to change something, they should tell you why.
Yeah, give you a good
And
reason.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
And that's it.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And also that's another you mentioned IP. Like that's another thing with publishers. Like make sure that you retain the IP.
Yeah,
And if you don't, ask for more money.
yeah, exactly.
Because it's your IP. You don't know if it's going to blow or not. Like, okay. So please be careful of that. Read the contract.
Even if you may not think that the IP is that worthy, still it's an IP. You never know how big an IP is gonna get, and you don't want to just give out that for free. And then one last question about publishers, I guess. This is both for publishers and devs to know. Looking back, what do you think makes a good developer-publisher partnership work? Could be like a good communication, clarity, honesty. What is it for you that makes a good partnership work?
I think honesty should be the first one. Like if the publisher feels something is not right, they should be able to tell you. Like if something, even if it's because of respect or they want to worry you, they should always tell you the truth about some things. And day-to-day communication, in my case, it worked because the producer and the quality assurance were really good, and I'm friends with them, and I still talk with them, and that made me feel better with the publisher. But it depends also on your needs, because on my previous company, we appreciated the total opposite because the team was bigger. We already had all the tools we needed. All the other company were on there because it's a bigger team, so I don't need help with other services. We have tools inside to do it. But if you're a smaller team, it's welcome to have someone to ask for help and like, oh, hey, can you help me with this thing? Or do you know someone who can do this other thing? Or I don't know, marketing thing. Minor stuff, day-to-day communication works if you are smaller. If you are bigger, maybe you don't need it. And I'm bigger, I'm talking about maybe 20 people. 20 people for me is a big team, which is, for an indie game, it's a big team.
It is.
But if you are like our team, we were like 3 to 4, we are more smaller, so having a producer who is doing the tasks and assigning what should do, who should do what thing, or for the next week we need to have these things implemented. Those things were set by the publisher, and I thank them because that was work that I didn't have to do. If I had a bigger team, I would have a producer of my own team, and I don't need that thing from the publisher. So it depends a lot on your team, on your needs. Like I would say, to summarize, it's like the publisher should adapt to your needs and give you creative freedom, and that's it.
Yeah. Whenever someone asks me, now that I'm with a publisher and I know a lot of them, like, what does a publisher do, right? I always,
Well,
instead of giving them a corporate answer, oh, we could do this and do that. No, I just tell them we deal with all the bullshit that the developer should not deal with, and we just
Yes.
leave them to develop their own game. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's just a very simple answer. It's what they do is really simple.
Yeah. A publisher should do everything you don't want to do.
Exactly.
That's it.
You don't want to do, and you shouldn't do. Like, you shouldn't deal with localizing the game, right? The publisher should do that for you, for example. All right, well, yeah, I'm glad your experience with Rofree went well. They're one of my also favorite publishers in the business right now, and I like them. Good to hear that you had a good relationship with them. Now I want to ask some questions about your creative process, making post-trauma, some like fun questions about horror and whatnot. What emotions or themes were you hoping for players to feel after they play post-trauma, or while they were playing post-trauma? Because post-trauma is it has an emotional story, emotional themes. Like, what emotions or themes did you expect people to take away from your game?
Well, that's hard to say because it evolved over time. But I would say the most obvious one is like the isolation, like being alone in there, and also a little bit of the uncanny valley of the environment, because I wanted to make them feel like places you have been, but at the same time you haven't. Because in a horror game, I feel it's more scary if you are in a thing you can relate to instead of hell. At least for me, like if you're in a place you obviously will never be, it's like or even a hospital or a school, or it's places that more or less you are familiar with. So that sense of like familiarity, but at the same time not, because everything is not right.
Yeah.
That was the feel, the vibe. And the nostalgia, I don't know if it's nostalgic feel of old games. Like I wanted the players to be reminded of old games, even if it's modern rabbits, but like more the vibe of I am playing something that's old school, not old. Yeah. And about emotional levels, it's like, I would say isolation and confusion and a little bit of hope at the end, but I'm aware of that the story is a little bit convoluted. So I've seen some people guess right what's happening behind the scenes, but I am aware that it's a bit confusing. But yeah, I think that's it. Like isolation, the hope at the end, and the uncanny valley of the environments. Like it's, I think here, but it's not right.
Okay. Now I think it's clear that the game is trying to reflect those feelings, and I think the player does get those feelings from the game. I certainly felt that way, and that's kind of like my favorite type of horror. Being in a familiar place, but not at the same time. I like horror games that take place in a home, for example, because it's your home, it's your safest place. What if something malicious inside that place? Now, what do you do? That's an interesting kind of horror. Speaking of horror, um, how do you personally define horror in a game? Is it about fear? Is it atmosphere? Is it the storytelling? How do you define horror in a video game?
Wow. I don't know. Like for me, was that like, for me the horror that works with me is when I'm afraid of advancing in the game. That depends on how you read it. Because, for example, my favorite horror game is Dead Space. It's not Silent Hill, even if
Mm,
it's what's wrong with more. And Dead Space does it with you don't know where the enemy is coming from. So it's
yeah.
like, okay, I'm at a river. At the end of the game, you are like killing machine, no? But at the beginning, you're like, the plays really well with the sound, and suddenly a band running in the background, you are scared of that thing turning into a necromorph, and nothing happens. I like that a lot. And with Silent Hill, I like that it's the vibe, just walking on an environment, and the sound makes you imagine things, and the sound doesn't let you see forward, so you are always thinking that something is there, but then it's not there. So that works really well for me, like being scared of what's in there. And the mood, the ambient sound, the sound is like 90%. So there's like here. This sound is like a 70% of that experience. And Silent Hill and Dead Space does it really, really good. And that's it, being afraid of that. If it's just loud sounds and jump scares, for me it's annoying. It's not scary. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I am scared of being annoyed, not being scared of
Yeah. Same.
okay. So, but other people like it, so I'm okay. It's I don't judge. Maybe a little bit, but not
I
too
do.
much. But that's fair. But that's it. I remember one of the games that I did not finish because I was super scared. It's Cry of Fear, and
Mm,
that game is
yeah.
super simple, and but it works really, really well, and it's free. Go play it,
Yeah.
and
It's a source
it's
mod.
yeah. And I remember being scared of working with that super small knife, and it was sound and mood because the enemies were super janky and didn't make sense at all. But the vibe, the being scared of what's happening around, I don't know, I liked it a lot.
So
And it's something that works for me in games, but doesn't work on movies. Like I'm at least for me, I don't find movies to be scary, but I find games to be super scary. I am scared of games. I really bad at horror games, and I need to play them with lights on to be able to play them. But a horror movie, I I find hard to be afraid of a movie. I don't know.
yeah, because it's happening out of your control. It's gonna happen anyway.
Yes,
I think
yes.
sounds like the anticipation is the thing that scares you the most. Like not the monster
Yeah.
itself, but the moment
No.
before you reach the monster. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where I read it. I don't know if it was a YouTube video or I don't know. But I read somewhere that a jump scare in a horror game or the monsters would be the reward. Like when you get scared in a game, it's that's your reward of everything that was happening. Like, oh, now I am scared. The big monster appeared. Now I can breathe because for a short period of time, nothing new will happen, and I don't have to worry about the monsters. Like, oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Now at least I know what the threat is. I don't have to anticipate it
Exactly. Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that works well with the other thing that you said, like familiar place. You're
Mm,
anticipating something is wrong here, something is gonna happen here,
yeah.
and I just know it, and you keep waiting for that thing to happen. And that's a
Mm,
strong, impactful type of horror that I like. I like that too. I'm a big fan
yes.
of anticipation horror. I don't like jump scares. Whenever I am like submitted a jump scare horror game, I instantly reject it. Said that I'm not gonna
Yes.
talk about this. I don't want to post about this. It's a bad game. Take this away and make it better. Make the horror better. Jump scare. Anybody can make a jump scare. My cat can
Yes.
make a jump scare right now. Good to know that we're on the same page there. Um, Speaking of movies, I guess I mean you already also mentioned Dead Space. Like, were there any specific films, artworks, or games or real life experiences that directly influenced your storytelling? Like Silent Hill, I
Mm,
guess. You're gonna say I
yes,
know. You're gonna say it's the obvious one.
yeah, it's obvious. But for example, I am not that super huge fan of Silent Hill because I
Mm,
haven't played. I think I stopped at 4. I haven't played the new one. Well, so I played Silent Hill F, which I like the story a lot. I like the vibes, but I hate the combat. I hated it. Like
it makes the
it
two
was
of
a
us.
chore. Yeah, no, I don't really that well to do more damage to beat the game because
Mm,
that's how I they don't like. But movies, I can't say movies because I don't watch too many movies. I spend most of my time on the computer. So it's not that I want to be like, no, I don't watch. No, it's like I simply it's
mm,
not one of my hobbies. But at the end, you are influenced by everything. Like
yeah.
one game I like a lot is The Yellow Within 2.
Mm,
I like the game a lot, and I haven't played the first one. I played only the second one. I watch like a video resume review of the first one. Okay, I
yeah.
know what's happening in there. I go to the second one. I love the second one. And I love the black bars. That's why Prosterma has them too. And I'm sorry if you hate them, but they are there. It also helps with the fixed cameras and being able to know exactly what happens in screen if you
Yeah.
have an ultra wide or whatever. But that's one influence. Again, Majora's Mask, I like a lot how characters deal with death in that game. I don't know, it marked me a lot when I was young because from the beginning of the game, almost everyone knows that they are going to die because the moon's going to fall. And you see a lot of people being okay with it, people denying it, people saying you are crazy. And I played that when I was a kid. And it was also one of the first games that was translated to Spanish. So
Mm,
before that, I had to play them in English, and I was like 5 years old. So it's like, okay, I don't know how to
yeah.
read English. Like I will more or less know what is happening. But that game was translated. I was like, oh, now I know what's happening, and that's maybe why it stuck with me. And Dead Space, of course, it's like I really love the audio design on Dead Space, and that's for me is a super huge inspiration of how a game with sound. Because I remember playing, I think it was an iPod game of Dead Space, super
Yes.
janky, but you could play that with headphones, and it still was scary. And I was like, how? It's like it's super. It wasn't even good looking back in the day, and it was like this size of a screen. So it's like, but it's scary and stick with the sound, and that stuck with me. Resident Evil, I liked a lot when they were puzzle-oriented games.
Agreed.
I'm going to gain a lot of enemies here, but I don't like when they focus on action.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I like a lot Resident Evil 7, but once you reach the part where you go to the boat, for me
Yeah.
it starts feels sluggish again. Same with Village, the beginning of the game, the house bed event I think it's called, really nice. After you become a killing machine, it doesn't hold well for me. In Dead Space, it holds well. I think that's a good horror action game that's scary. Resident Evil is more, they are action games with horror elements. So I know their target audience is not me, so I can't
Yeah.
complain. So at the end, it's a little bit of everything. And there will be more games that I play that I can, like Destiny. I liked the art direction of Destiny is really, really good. And I don't know if in the final game is that obvious, but from some of the concepts of the final part of the game, we use things from Destiny as a reference. And we had to cut some sections of the game at the end that had a lot of Destiny reference outside the pyramids. So I don't know how it's called, the dark Siege of the Darkness, the ones that look like Doritos. The inside of those is really cool. I like how they, I don't know, with simple saves give you a mood, and that's a big reference. Or how they played with lights, and that's a really nice. And that's it. Like it's a lot of stuff from everywhere. Like you can choose one. You are always influenced by something.
But yeah,
So,
I think it still has its own identity, and that's good to know. I assumed you were gonna say Silent Hill because you did that a couple of times before. Like it's
it's
obviously like Silent Hill,
Silent Hill.
but I think it's
For me,
definitely more than
is
that.
for like, yeah. I mean, I would say Silent Hill because my favorite is 4, but because that was the first one I played, so maybe that's why it stuck with me more. But I really liked how what you said about being home to your safe place. It's your safe place. I like a lot of how on that game, after some point, your safe place is not safe anymore. I like a lot of that idea. Like, oh, suddenly, every time I wake up, I was safe, and now I'm not safe. I can't even breathe now. What do I do? And that made me feel a lot that game. I liked it a lot. I liked a lot Henry. I feel like he's like the perfect protagonist. Like he's stoned, like he's like dreaming, like the way he talks. I liked it a lot. I don't know. That stuck with me, and the metro and everything.
Yeah.
But that's the obvious one. I sort of said, "Wait, yeah, that's it."
I think Postrum unironically did a better job at giving the same feelings that I got from watching Jacob's Ladder than anything that Silent Hill had ever done, because it's said that Jacob's Ladder was a big inspiration for Silent Hill. I saw in Post-Trauma more Jacob's Ladder than I did in Silent Hill, and that was like funny for me to notice. I was like,
nice.
It's like a full cycle. Now we're back here at Jacob's Ladder again. Yeah, I definitely felt that while playing. I Before we like start ending these podcasts, I want to kind of ask some questions about community building and marketing, and because Post Trauma is a game that gained a lot of traction early on social media, be it my retweets or be it your handling of social media, and you got a sudden wave of attention, a lot of eyes on your game. Like that for me at first was so scary. It's just a lot of people talking about what I'm doing and under my posts, like mentioning and interacting. How did you handle that? How was that for you?
I mean, I think we are lucky that the horror games community it's the most wholesome one. If it was another type of game, communities can be more toxic. But I feel like with horror games, horror games are more welcoming. I don't know, because usually the people that play those games have their own problems in life. I don't know, so that's why you use horror games. So more like at least the psychological horror type game.
Yeah.
So people were super friendly, and I didn't have problems with that. And every time, like one stupid person appeared, other people overshadow that. Like other people were telling that people to fuck off, or there have a lot of good comments. Like for example, with the Roman is a fat guy. I don't want to play as a fat guy. Then another one replied, "Then go play another game." That's it. So in that part, it was nice, and it also felt comforting, like seeing a lot of every time you post something, seeing a lot of people interested on it. So it for me, it was always nice. Near the end of development was more scary because you have to keep the hype, and also in a horror game it's hard to market it because you can't show too much.
Yeah.
Because if you show too much, then when you play it's not scary, so you have to keep the hype. But it was really nice. It was. I am also. I did not pay too much attention because I get out of anxiety fast. Like I was, if a lot of people were asking me stuff, yeah, that was also not. It wasn't scary, but it was like too much. I don't know how to say it. Like, yeah, it gave me anxiety. Like having to reply to people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because they were nice, but still I have to reply to people and I
Overwhelming.
have to use time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's that part was harder for me, but I think that's it. I go on that. I was very, very lucky with the community. Every time I posted something, they were super supportive. So
Good. The next question that I had was gonna be kind of related, but you already answered that for me. Like, has fan feedback ever changed the way you look at your own game? But like, I guess Roman was one of those things, and I don't think it changed. But
yeah,
still, like, did that
no.
ever happen to you? Like, fan feedback, did it change the way you look at the game?
I don't think so. No, because like 90% of the feedback I got was good feedback, like people liking it or tweeting or wanting more. So the only feedback I had is after the game. Maybe I could change some stuff, but after the game's out, you can't change too much. So,
Yeah.
but with screenshots and the demo, people were super supportive. So, no, no big deal there. And I will never change Roman. So, I think the only time I replied is I think one year on April Fools, I posted like I was going to replace
I
Roman
remember
with a
that.
super muscular guy who was in black and white
Yeah.
and super dumb. And some people believed it. I was like, no, bro, I'm joking. I'm not going to change it. But even then, I saw comments of people like, oh, I like Roman more, but it is what it is. I support you. I was like, bro, please.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Then,
So no.
kind of related, then, how did you handle, or how do you handle criticism or player expectations in a way that it's productive but not stressful? Like, after the game is out, obviously you did get some like negative reviews too.
Yeah, of course.
How did you handle the criticism?
After the game's out, like I've read, I now stopped reading reviews because there's no point right now. But the first weeks I read all of them, and talking only about the negative ones. Let's say that 50 or well, no more, like 70% of the negative reviews were right on the things that we complain about. And like, I don't know, for example, someone would say the animations are janky, or this puzzle here doesn't align with other thing, or the performance on this area is really bad. You are right. I can't say anything about that, and I'm aware of that. Like, if I could go back in time and fix it, I will do it. After the game's out and we don't have any more money to work on it, I can't do anything. But I'm right. And the other small amount of reviews that were negative were people who did not get the game or were wrong on the review. Like, I thought there was some review telling like the first puzzle couldn't be beaten because the game doesn't give you the clues to beat it. And like, this game is not for you. The clues are there, but you can remove that review. It's on Steam. Okay, it is what it is. Other people saying that I used AI for the Freya photo. I'm like, no, I did not. It's a Photoshop, cheap Photoshop on top. But they gave a negative review, and okay, well, if you say it is, but it's not, okay, it is what it is. So those don't affect me. And so that's it. Unless it's something hate, a pure hate, which I think I only got one or two, maybe, about like, I don't want to play as a fat guy. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, then there's something wrong happening with your life, so I don't pay attention to this person. And the other ones that were not hate, but were just wrong, like the one with the AI, or the one with the puzzle is not working because my code is not. You look like some people looked at the puzzle solution and they saw the solution of the demo and tried that code, and the goal from the demo and the goal from the final game is different. So I tried the Code on the playthrough from 2021. Maybe something has changed, bro. So those don't bother me. And the ones that were legit, like, yes, you're right. So it is what it is. You are on your right to leave a negative review if you don't like it because of those reasons. So,
That sounds like you took the criticism well. That's good, because a lot of people let it get to themselves. They take it like personally because it's something that you created. It's like someone coming in calling your artwork, this looks like shit, right? It's obviously it's like heartbreaking, but I think you took the criticism well, and you even like agree with people on some things.
I'm aware of the shortcomings of the game, and at the end it's like, bro, it's $15.
Yeah.
So I've played games for $50 that are garbage. So if you were expecting this game to be way, way bigger in your head, that's your expectation, not mine. Like, if this game costs $40, I will say, brother, this game is really, really bad, but it's not. It's $15. So you have to approach the game in that way. It's an indie game. They probably we talked about before. Like, it's an indie game. It's a small game. It just happens to have realistic graphics.
Yeah.
But if this game had PS2 graphics, $15 in the store, you have 5-7 hours. You can't ask for more. Like, bro, what else do you want? So I'm aware some things could be better, of course, but for the price it has, for the amount of duration, for the team, the efforts we had in it, I'm happy with it. And if you like it, I'm super happy. If you don't like it, it's your taste, not mine. So that's it.
Mm-hmm. Good to hear that you took it well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think the majority opinion was that the game was great and people enjoyed it. And still to this day, I see people talking about post-trauma. Then about the development, I guess, is there anything that you would do differently if you could like go back right now?
Everything. Everything. Like, I will hire everyone from the beginning. I would ask for more money. Mm-hmm. Even if we haven't regained all the money we worked, I would ask for more money because that makes you go faster. And I would make the story, not the story, but the lore of the game simpler. I will change things of the combat to make it not the combat but the enemy AI and how we approach it. Because for a lot of part of the development, I didn't want to have ranged weapons. And I realized too late that we had to change the combat, and by the time I realized what the combat needed, it was not too late, but not enough time to improve it as good as we wanted. So that's another change. I will make puzzles more difficult. I will add more cutscenes, but simpler ones, for example. So, but those are things that you know now. Like, it's easy to say now. So yeah.
Most of them,
all the decisions we do.
Most of them sounds like they're about the scope of the game anyway. It's not like they're not like core ideas.
No. Like so first of all, I didn't want to make a big game. I always wanted to make something smaller than post-trauma, but because I needed to find a publisher, I couldn't go to a publisher and tell them, hey, I want to make a 2-hour game. Because for a publisher, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, or for most of them at least. Like you need to have something somewhat not big, but reasonably big. So a policer has some interest in you, at least back in the day, or at least the impression I had back in the day.
No, it was definitely that way. Yeah.
So that's why I had to not overcome, but make more complex the game, make it more content or add more things or more story. If I had an unlimited amount of time and free time for me or for myself and an Ethereum bank account, Post-Trauma will be a 3-hour game that I made on my own, 100% on my own.
Mm.
Maybe I would ask help with the music and the sound, of course, but everything else I would have done it myself and I would make something short. But if you need a policy, you have to change the pitch of the game so the policy is interested on your game. So
yeah,
that's one of the things in the scope.
Okay. Yeah, you can't change it now, but at least this is good experience for the next project.
Nah, yes. It will happen eventually. Like if I make another game, for example, as much as I love fixed cameras, the next game I make will be first person.
Nice. I like first person games more.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's way easier to make. So yeah.
Oh. Well, then before we move into closing remarks, I'm done with my questions. I'm done. I got all the things that I needed from you. Everything I'm curious about. What about you, man? I'm passing the microphone to you. What are you doing these days? What are you spending your time with? Just tell us about yourself.
Yeah, like I told before, like after doing the game, I got burned out of making games. And not even making games, I got burned of games in general because too much time working on that. And that's why I started painting figures and building props and everything, because I needed a hobby to be away from the computer. So that's why I started doing manual labor, so manual art. So, and I also did the experiment of, I'm going to make a new account and see if I can push it to be big. Okay, like it's not going to be super big, but I want to try a new algorithm, because right now Twitter is dead.
Yeah.
So let's try Instagram, and it's working or less. Now I stopped because I found a new job. Again, it's mobile games. It's not super exciting, but mobile games give you money, and I can work from home, and
they're stable. Yeah,
it's nice, and it's a stable income, so that helps mentally a lot. But that's it. Like I still did a lot of prototypes between now and the release of the game. I tried to make another horror game, but I pushed it and I do not like the idea at the end. So I will still do things. I will eventually release something, but it will be something that I make for fun on my free time. And I would probably release it on Steam for, I don't know, 5 hours. So like, hey, try this thing. It's like maybe an hour and have fun with that. But without any pressure. Like no, I don't have any rush for coming back to do another game. Eventually it will happen, but it has to be when I am mentally interested in that. You have to be able to separate. And for me, I realized that even if I love making games is a job. And it doesn't matter how much you love what you do, it's still a job. So I try to find hobbies that are not related to what I do for work.
Yeah.
Even playing games felt for a while like a job. I remember playing the remake of Silent Hill 2, and I couldn't beat it, but only because I was overanalyzing everything, saying like, "Oh, maybe we can add this, or maybe we will copy this." And somebody was like, "Fuck, stop! I will play it in the future."
Yeah.
But now I played Silent Hill off and liked it. And now that I'm talking with you, I realized I haven't thought at any point during the gameplay about hey, I like how they did this, or I like how they implemented this. I only played the game and I enjoyed it as a game, which was something that for some time I couldn't do. Every time I was playing something, I was like, oh, how they did this? Oh, I could copy this. I could copy that. No. Now I'm like back again and like just enjoying the game. So
That's
that's
good.
nice.
That's good. That means you're
Yeah.
quote unquote healing, right? That means you're getting
Yes.
out of that burnout stage, and that's good to know. And yeah, I'm glad things are looking better. You found a job. The figures are great. I
Thank
keep
you.
following. I will also like link your stuff in the description, but yeah, I think people
Thank
should
you.
check you out for that, and you should like keep doing that while also working. I love seeing them personally.
Thank you.
All
But
right.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'm glad things are working well, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you from the first day. I'm
No,
I'm so glad to see Post Drama, did well. Post Drama was one of the first games that I personally saw on horrorvisuals like do well, get pushed by a publisher. It's just like, oh shit, like I had a hand in that. It felt good for me to see too, and it's good to hear that you also had like largely positive experience with making that game.
Yeah,
And
I'm here because of you. Like, I have zero doubt. If your content didn't existed, I am 100% sure the game would have been made. I am sure. So thank you for being
I'm just the
sharing.
messenger. I'm just the messenger. If it wasn't me, if it was gonna be someone else.
And I'm not sure, man. Like I really believe it. Like it's your account that made the game possible because it gave me the boost of confidence of people are interested in this. So thank you for
Hell yeah.
for doing that for free.
I love to hear that. Yeah, so that's all for free. I wouldn't change anything about that. No regrets.
That's nice.
All right. Well, Roberto, thank you for joining the return episode of Game Dev Is Not Easy, episode 4. I am sure that the episodes are gonna continue. I already have a bunch of devs on my guest list. I'm gonna contact them and record the new stuff. But yeah, thank you for accepting the offer. Thank you for being here. It was great talking to you. This is the longest episode of Game Dev Is Not Easy yet.
Nice.
I think you gave a lot of insight about working in games, working with a publisher, working in Unreal Engine to me and to whoever is going to listen to this episode. Like I said, I will link all of your stuff in the description so people can come and find you online, not real life. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for joining.
I'm just not sure anytime.
All right, then, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you're on YouTube. This episode is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you listen to it, if you liked it, please leave a like, whatever platform you're on. It really helps with the algorithm. And that'll be it from us. I will see you guys on the next one. And Roberto, I will see you later.
Bye-bye.